Good morning, everybody. You know how this starts. Let's see, what's been terrorizing my mind recently? Because that's apparently the intro to all of these. It's whatever meme I've been thinking of. I don't know. I think I'm actually going into today with a free and clear mind, which is kind of scary because well, that never happens. Maybe it means I've hollowed out my soul and there's nothing left. Yeah, that's that's definitely the more realistic thing. All right, just gonna ping the Discord. All right, cool. All right, we are all set. All right, we have what day is it? We got a Thursday crossword going on. All right, yesterday, a little too easy. Or actually, not yesterday. Sorry, Tuesday, a little too easy. Skipped yesterday, so let's see what we got today. 1987 film Spaceballs, probably a spoof. Things often included with a free subscription. Ads. Brazen. Blatant. Out in the open. Stuff like that. I don't know. Wake up call. When your glass scale shatters. When you're out of breath climbing up the stairs. those are wake up calls. Microscopic. Tiny. Photo option. Flash? Prancing Horse and Golden Bull logos. Prancing Horse and Golden Bull is Ferrari and Lamborghini, yeah? I don't know. More likely to make the correct choice. Saner, I don't know. Kind of butter. Shea butter. Alright, let's see if we can fill out this little square. Like many mustaches in film? No clue. Not spoof. A greeting found scrambled in part of aloha is what it would be, I believe. Shows little sign of slowing down. Doesn't age? I don't know. Museums, entrance and exit. M's. Wake up call. Oh, it really was just alarm. False. Okay, I don't know. Rages? Like it rages on, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Language in which... Okay. That I don't know. SoCal area with the Latino Walk of Fame. East LA, maybe? Yearn? Nope. Get together for a party? No clue. Bad way to go? I don't know. College official would be the dean. Trailer opening. I don't know, coming soon? Croatian? Maybe? Farce? Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Pot papers? Don't know. Dressing choice? Ranch? Jeez Louise, sheesh. Man, remember when people would say sheesh? Get together for a party. Long. What's up? Pot papers. I have no clue. Certain stumbling block or a hint to three pairs symmetrically positioned. I don't fucking know. Nab. Closest pal is BFF. Audio. Okay. Sounds good. Nab bag. Some orders and tails. Tall tales. Anyone ever give you a short tail? Nah, whatever. Bungles, flubs, probably. No clue there. Language in which ziz shelf, zit shelf. Oh my god. Okay, nope. Get together for a party. Pot papers? What would pot papers be? Not IOU. Ions? No clue. %, perhaps? A fifth? Hydrotherapy center? Probably a spa. 20% tip. C's? Nab C's? That might be. This isn't Wowza, is it? No shot. Canon collection? Oh no. The February-March event, the February-March. It wouldn't be the Ides of March, that's at the end. The the switch from Uh-oh. Microscopic has an E in the middle and it's 3 letters. We? Bad way to go. AWOL? I don't know. Trailer opening. Uh-oh. We might be in many a cult classic that'd be a B movie. Protests that aren't going anywhere. This isn't the politics section. Sit-ins. That's clever. All right. I'll give it to you, New York Times. John Anna de Armas, great deal, a ton of. Designates, no clue. Woman's name invented by Jonathan Swift. Is that Taylor Swift's dad? New York is insane. How so? Skedaddles. Scrams? Yeah, but like insane in which way? New York is always insane, but are you saying it's insane now? Because of Mamdani's win? Or is it just being in New York is insane? Because I would agree with that. both. Yeah. I mean, New York is probably makes it like 20%. I'd say even less. I think New York is very hectic. I'm not a big fan of. I mean, like I get overwhelmed in cities a lot of the time, but it's just the nature of cities. I don't know if it's anything specific to New York. It's kind of. Well, I guess there's more hustle and bustle in New York. Like Chicago, also, but not as much. And designates in a way. Skedaddles. Vanessa? A ton. Latvian? Anoints. Okay, nice. Big shot? No clue. Ask, I don't know. Someone can ask there. Do we have any someone older than I could probably do this. When I was doing crosswords like super heavily, I used to know this column because it would come up so quickly or so frequently. Zip, nada, tie, maybe? Resistance to change. Cash only. One accepted into the family. Put a pin in it. Your ATM. Is it Ava Long? Ada Long? Color on the beach. Tan? Made man. That's pretty good. Zip. No clue. Beamed. Smiled. Have high hopes. Finagled a discount. Source of a printout. A PDF, maybe? One in a gym set is a rep, so this is PDF. Spin. Saved? That's... Big shot. Himself? Maybe. Have high hopes. Assure? I don't know. We might have to go to auto check on this. Big shot. Big shot. 3 letters, I in the middle. Big shot. I would think like a CEO or something. Oh, no, I was thinking tetanus or something, like a vaccine or something. Zip. I think this is... Dross. I think this would be hem. No. Maybe. I don't know. Alright. I'm turning on auto check. Okay. This is not hem. Okay. Go away? Go awry. Ah, I get it. Resistance to change. Is it not? No, it's not. I've... Okay, I don't know any actresses. Ivana. Okay, I have no idea. Inertia. That's pretty clever. Zip. Zim? Whim? I have high hopes. VIP. Aspire. Oh, okay. Valiant. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. No, what? Tongue. Jesus. Cynic? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Smart cookie? Man, when was the last time anyone was called a smart cookie? Get together for a party. Daredevil's mantra in brief. Do sin. Oh. Daredevil. Sorry, Canon collection. The Olympics? No, that's not annual. Shoot. More like saner. Smarter. Knowledgeable. More adept. Fitter. Something ER. Groups in roundups. Wait. The one spot? Animal in many a roundup. Sheep? Steer? Yeah. Critical item? I don't know, a need? Okay, just... Herds? Yeah. The Oscars. Oh, yeah, okay, no wonder I didn't know that. I don't know where the fucking Oscars are. Not does anybody care, because people obviously care about the Oscars, but... Like, come on. Brash. At sea. Photo option. Matte? I don't know about that. Wiser, sure. Raincoat? Go. Daredevil's mantra. Oh, YOLO. SLRs. Yowza? Maybe. What am I missing? Caucus. A get together for a party, a caucus. Sure. Alright, on to the food segment. Let's get some scrandle going. And my coffee. Ugh. Yeah, put stevia in there. Not a good idea. Walking on Sunshine Freak Shake? Sorry. The Yankees have a thing called the Freak. I mean, maybe there's something that I'm unaware of for that, so. Okay. Cheesy chips with color versus. Oh my god. Fries with shredded. Please tell me that's at least like Parmesan and not just mozzarella, because that looks like the most sad thing ever. Thank you. Okay. Okay. This burger would probably be whatever. It doesn't look great. But this guy's like pulling it apart in a manner in which it looks fucking disgusting. But this $7? Oh. Yeah, okay. But like that burger would not be bad. I know all of you would eat that. Says vegan as I hear Oh, there's a truce with the RSF. Okay, thank God. This probably tastes fine. This also just looks better. German. Oh, it's English. Okay. First of all, this is in Austin. That makes no sense. That being said, this looks fucking disgusting. What? Nah. Mushy peas have no fucking flavor. They're not a sauce. They just make whatever you're eating slimier. No. No. I refuse to accept the results of that election. I demand a recount. These are both pretty depressing. This just looks like a burger that's probably cold, and this looks like nothing. I'm really torn on it. I don't know which way the people would vote. Again, it's just people like mutilating their burgers. Okay, yeah, I guess. Okay, the pizza's probably gonna win. This is gonna. Oh, all right. Never mind. My apologies. That's too much fucking bread. You can't put French fries in bread. But this is called the Belly Buster. Okay, I can understand at least where that comes from. That just looks like a normal hot dog, and this just looks like a normal hot dog. That looks like it'll taste better. Yeah. Okay. That's chicken bites and chips. I'd probably go with this. It should just not be that color. I don't think you can have something look like that. Yeah. Okay. Rough scrandle today, but I mean, it's scrandle. That's kind of the point. What else we got? We got a food guesser. Let's get the food ones out of the way first. these are two fundamentally different foods. This is a Google image of pretzel, and this is the actual dish. Various film. I mean, I still think it's from Germany because they love almonds. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Kind of a tough one to mess up. Um. I mean, are these even? I guess they're the same food. I can't even. I mean, like the Fiesta ware. Okay. Big block of goat cheese. Oof. Probably Greece? What kind of cheese is that? Oh. Borders Greece to the north. Oh no. Uh Bulgaria? Yeah, okay. Oh, right, North Macedonia. What is this? Is a popular square shape. Okay, I mean, oh, it's a donut. A breakfast treat? I don't know about that. The glaze is optional. I mean, just by the nature of it being a donut, I want to say it's American, but it's got raisins in it, which makes me think it's not. Hmm. Cinnamon. Oh, but raisin donut. Where would that even be from? I mean, I'd say it's like 70% probably from the U.S., but oh, it's Canadian. Of course, it's fucking Canada. All right, we're above average. All right, all right. Well, I just gotta respond to something real quick, and then we'll head straight to the plate off. Okay. All right. um, Berg. No, you okay? I have a guess of what this is. This is not like a liquid burger, is it? This dish was made by simmering a variety of ingredients in a large pot. Okay, it's a stew. But is it just burger ingredients in water? Like, obviously, this is gonna. Yeah, okay. Just. I guess I shouldn't go with obviously too often because sometimes people are fucking crazy. Let me just double check the ingredient. Well, it's exact. Okay. Onions, bell pepper, celery, chicken or seafood. Yeah. There's, the more colorful food often is going to win, or the thing that looks more breaded and fried. Oh. I mean, bulgogi's great. This just looks like it's okay. My instincts are wrong. Tortilla. This sounds really good. Um, Probably this. I'm unclear as to what those are. Okay, it's the juice. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Uh it's, yeah, it's just I don't know. You gotta use your intuition. Hey, it's you guys. Fool's Gold Loaf? That's just a big ass Uncrustable. What? Wait. Nah. I can't go. What? No way. What is. I feel like haggis just loses by default. Yeah. Wait, hold on. What? It's a rice cake. Sorry, you're telling me a rice cake lost to PB&J? And a pound of bacon? Dude, that sounds incredible. That's BS. No shot. I don't believe it. I think that's an anti-US bias. I like come on. That's such. All right, let's see kind of hard golf. Let's see what they got for us. They got some nice background music. Zoom out a little bit. Not that much. That's good. Okay. Let's get too much mustard. Step. Okay, this has got the grass, so we can. Okay, then the bank shot. I meant. Just ignore this. This is getting cut. This is getting cut out. Okay, then the bank shot. Nice. All right, where do we gotta go? Presumably right up here. Okay, I meant presumably right. My dude, this game. This is messed up. But he's the best to ever do it. Ignoring, everything that happened beforehand, but someone just got a 61. Damn. Okay, let's our angle. It's way too much mustard. But right idea. So let's just do a little yeah. Okay. Then we want a kind of too much. Way too much. Still too much. Damn, okay. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm thinking if I go here, bounce, softly land on the corner here. I have no control over the. Ah! Stop. Okay. Now this is the most stress. Stop it. Okay, now this is free. Okay, thank God for the checkpoint button. What are we at? 24? Oh no, I should not have made fun of that 61, and we may be. Come on, I did the thing. No. Okay, please, that's got to be. Okay. Okay, I guess we just bounce. Ugh. Less. More. Uh-oh. Okay, we've only got No! Stop. Okay. I made fun of a 61, so 60 and below I'm in the clear. Uh-oh. Okay, par. You know what? We'll take it. Let's head over to Worldle. That is Serbia. Yeah. I would like to say I know these countries out of the back of my head. I just There was a very good chance that that was not. Let's go Turkey. Okay, warm between these two. So are we in Libya or are we in Poland? No, we're in Poland. Nope. Okay. Sweden. What? Oh, Finland. Fake country. Travel. Now these aren't very far. Think Mali goes in. No, other side. Oh, that's even further away. Okay, that's a good start. And then... Okay. Okay. Kind of saved at the end there. Still unfortunate. Okay, time guesser. Okay, I'm gonna... Just a hunch that we might be in Jamaica. That's just a hunch. Which hurricane is this? October 7th, 2016. Okay. In somewhere in Jamaica. Doesn't give you a you are here sign, does it? Okay, I can't do much with the coordinates. No clue. Alright, yeah. I'll just go for Kingston and hope that's good enough. Ooh. Okay, now this is probably a date I should know off the top of my head. That being said, is this Teddy Roosevelt? Oh God, this is probably something very significant. No. No, if it was super significant, there'd be more people here. Uh-oh. 19... Is this us talking about going to... oh, shoot. 19... Oh... 1910? I mean, I've at least I know where it is. As I was scrolling in on New York, ignore that. This isn't the politics stream, part of the stream. I don't need to know where the capital is. Oh no. Is this the Senate or the House of Representatives? How many seats is this? I'm going to go with House of Representatives. Oh! Okay. Whew. That could have been bad for the reputation. Okay, Lipton's with Arabic writing. United Levant. Okay, so if we're in the Levant, this is the Levant, right? No, that's the Negev. Sinai. This is the... Jesus. All right, I'm having a Hassan moment here. Let's say we're in Jerusalem. In 1948, Let's go 1949. 33. Lipton tea, bro? Yeah, no, I'm aware it's Lipton tea. This is Hungary? Is that the Hungarian flag? Shoot. Is this... Oh, no. Uh-oh. That's not where Hungary is. Hungary's over here. Okay. The language kind of matches. This looks like the 60s or let's go late 60s, mid 70s, 72. Because I feel like I don't know. Let's just go Budapest. Budapest is the 80s. Fuck. This is Greece, probably. If I'm meant to know who these people are, I do not. I don't know where this is in Greece, so if I just don't know if it's even in Greece, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a stab that it's here in the 1920s. 1964? What kind of camera is this? I really hired someone from like 1830 to take the picture. Oh my god. Alright. Fuck. I'll be right back and then we'll get into the politics scene. Okay, we're back. Alright. I suppose that on the political stream we gotta do a little bit of politics. So, let's get that going. Tragic. We'll put this off to the side. Then we'll go up here. Okay. So, where I want to start. Let's go with first the president's address to a bunch of Republican senators.
Please welcome the 45th and the 47th
Ladies
President
and gentlemen,
of the United
President
States,
of
Donald.
Oh, this. Sorry.
United States.
This is his own party. Okay, whatever. You know what? I'm not going to start that yet.
A little bit. That was quite a formal entrance. I thought we were just going to sit down and talk a little bit. We talk about exactly 1 year ago we had that big, beautiful victory. Exactly 1 year.
And how's that going?
And last night it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think.
New Jersey? What is the historic governorship of New Jersey been?
It was
I'll
good
look
for
that up
Republicans.
over
I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody. But we had an interesting evening, and we learned a lot. And we're going to talk about that, and I'll say a few remarks, and then after that I'll ask the press to leave. The press has been very, very nice to us the last couple of months. They were great to us in terms of the foreign visits with
He's going to give the public address, and then the Alan, we are so fucked. Maybe he does have that level of self-awareness. We'll see.
China, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, and they were actually terrific. So I want to thank you for that. I'm sure you'll get back to your normal ways soon.
Okay, it's traditionally, at least in recent history, in New Jersey, been Democratic governors.
Done a great job in turning off wars. We stopped 8 wars. And we have 1 to go, as you probably know, and that'll get stopped also. But we've done a great job, so it's really been an honor to do it, and I did it with many of the people in this room. Every one of you I know, and every one of you I like. I like our leaders. I like everybody. But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown.
Okay, this could be that the shutdown is coming to a close soon? Maybe? I know the odds on Polymarket shot up of it ending after this.
How that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor.
I'm not sure. He keeps repeating this line about how he's not on the ballot. I'm not 100% sure what he means, because it feels plainly obvious to everybody that, especially with people like Jay Jones winning, where the texts that he was sending were unhinged. I am not sure I would even endorse that candidacy after that was revealed. But if that guy could still win, then I feel like this is absolutely a referendum on Trump. So by voting Republican, you essentially were voting for whoever Trump co-signed, and by voting Democrat, you were voting against him. So I'm not 100% sure what he's getting at as Trump's not on the ballot, because in every race the Republicans were representing Trump largely.
But I don't know about that, but I was honored that they said that. And
Okay, well.
I just want to thank everybody for being here, and a very special thanks to Vice President J.D. Vance, who's doing a terrific job. J.D., thank you very much.
When this released, the odds of the government shutdown lasting till
As
over
well as
November
the
16th
Senate
shot up,
team that has
or
been
shot
working
down,
very
and then
hard,
they're back
working
up.
Really, I will tell you, nobody's working any harder representing the American people, including Senator John Thune. John, thank you. Great job. Senator John Barrasso. John, thank you very much. Senator Tom Cotton, wherever you may be, Tom.
Tom Cotton.
Thank you, Tom.
He's
Thank
an
you.
interesting one, to say the least.
Senator Shelley Moore Capito, who's been very involved. Thank you, Shelley. Senator James Lankford from one of my favorite states, 77 out of 77. I always say 77 out of 77. Reagan was 56. That was the record. We got we got every one of them.
Oklahoma.
Thank you, James.
Okay.
And a fantastic friend of mine and an
Yes, I
incredible
did have to look that
advocate
up.
during the election a year ago, Tim Scott. Thank you, Tim. So as you know, we are in the midst of a disastrous Democrat-created government shutdown, and it is Democrat-created, but I don't think they're getting really the blame that they should.
Okay. Yes, it's finally made its way up. The realization that, regardless of whatever he thinks, Republicans are taking is are the American people are blaming the Republicans, and I think the pressure is mounting on him to capitulate. I would imagine that there's a lot of conversations happening within about what to do. I'm going to predict that the shutdown ends with a speech about how the Democrats have forced the Republicans to go against the American people. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It'll be some big cope speech, but I think the odds of the Democrats getting what they want has shot up significantly with him actually seeing these polls. Hopefully, we'll see.
That's now officially the longest shutdown in American history.
What was the second one?
Democrat radicals in the Senate have shown zero interest in reopening the government, and I don't think they'll act so soon. A lot of people disagree. I've been saying for the last 30 days, we've had 4 or 5 different points. Yes, sir, they're going to get it right now.
Not two
we
more.
should have it done in a day. I've heard that about 4 times. I heard it after Kings. They said I was a king. And I heard it after Kings. I heard it after a couple of other moments in time. And I said, no, I don't believe so. And now I heard it's after the election. I don't believe so. I think they will. I think they're kamikaze pilots. I just got back from Japan. I talked about the kamikaze pilots. I think these guys are kamikaze.
Yes, kamikaze pilots famously known for their stance on healthcare. Okay, yeah, sure. Why not?
They'll take down the country if they have to. So I don't think so. Millions of Americans are going to be without SNAP benefits. And I will say about SNAP benefits, so when I was president, we had $7 billion worth, and now they have many times that because these benefits were given to anybody that asked, and they're up to...
Can we think of a major world event that may have caused more people to go on government assistance programs such as SNAP? Maybe something that happened around 2020, 2021 that put a lot of people out of work. It's totally lost on me. I have no clue what might have caused a increase in reliance on government assistance. Man, that almost feels like the whole world shut down for something like that to happen.
I hear just many times, 47 billion. So it wasn't the purpose of SNAP. It was for people that really had problems, down and out, people that really had problems. But during Biden, they gave it to anybody that wanted it. I think it's something you have to talk about because the numbers are incredible. But countless public servants are now
do a fact check on the
not
side.
being paid, and the air traffic
Biden,
control system
SNAP.
is under increasing strain. We must get the government back open soon and really immediately. We have to get it up. We have the hottest economy we've ever had, and it's affecting the stock market now a little bit. But the stock market, as of Friday, has hit many record highs during the...
Sorry. Did Biden tighten work requirements? Excuse me. Wait, hold on. I'm doing a quick fact check here. Raising the age of work requirement to 64, updating and adding new exceptions to the time limit. Okay, for veterans and youth aging out of foster care makes sense. Reducing the number of discretionary exemptions states can use. Sorry, this seems like a tightening. So SNAP tightened under Biden.
last 9 months, many. And it will again. This is just the beginning, because when these plants that are being built right now start opening up, we've never had anything like this. There's a boom. There's a construction boom right now, but that's going to be bigger than that. That's going to be an economic boom as soon as they open up, and it's going to be something special. We have car companies coming in. When I was in Japan, Toyota, Mr. Toyota, I said, "What's your name?" "Toyota." I said, "Oh, you're rich." They said, "How much of the company do you own?" 92.1%. I said, "I'm glad you said the one. He wants to be." I said, "You're a rich guy." And he said, "I'm investing $10 billion in the..."
Also, you want to know that, just another quick fact check on construction spending. Over 10 years, it's been kind of down ever since. Under Trump, it's flatlining. Wow, look at Biden's construction spending. That's pretty damn high. Probably because of the infrastructure bill, right? And now it's just decreasing. Wait, this isn't even total levels. This is changes in construction spending. It keeps decreasing. It's just decreasing a little less. But nothing he says is true.
The U.S. And you know who I'm talking about, right? You introduced me, Mr. Senator. You introduced me originally when you were the ambassador to Japan. He's still good. He's still strong. But he had no interest in investing in this country. Now he's investing $10 billion as of 1 week ago in building new plants. We have auto plants coming in incredibly, but we have AI and all
FDI
of them. And,
monthly.
we can't be extorted to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into the country illegally, many from prisons,
US.
many drug dealers. A lot of people came in from mental institutions. They want to give a lot of money to the people that came in illegally. We have to get them out. We can't. No country can sustain that. That's not like an attack on our country. In no country, these are not going to be productive people. These are going to be anti-productive people. And we can all have big hearts. I have a bigger heart than anybody, but we can't let that happen. It's time for Republicans to do what...
Let me double check on this, but for FDI, foreign direct investment, it's also down under Trump. Under Biden, foreign direct investment was up, and now it's on its way down. That's of the three things we've double checked on, none have been true. Like, hey, what's up, Beck? How's it going? It's nuts.
What they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get...
Schumer explicitly said we're not going to pick the fight earlier in your term. And then, once we realized how dog shit and how unpopular you'd be, then people are like, all right, fine, we'll fight. There's nothing strange about the order in which this is happening.
Get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID.
Again, the way to evaluate this isn't that there's nothing in place. There are measures in place. There's a insignificant like when I say insignificant, I mean like under like what 100 cases of voter fraud, and when it does happen, it's caught. So does the burden placed on voters and the states by requiring voter ID outweigh the potential benefit of eliminating some percentage of the already minuscule voter fraud cases? I would say probably not. Because not everyone has a driver's license or their birth certificate on hand. Like, and also, do you want to bring your birth certificate to the polling look? I don't know. That argument's less strong for me. More just the burden, like, bureaucratically placed on states. And ending mail-in voting is ridiculous. Because that just means college students and the military won't be able to vote. Like, hello. I don't... Unless there's some giant, like we're seeing, outcome determinative voter fraud, then no shot. Because mail-in voting is such a useful tool for people to be able to vote when they happen to be out of state at the time. Like,
but for voting, they want no voter ID. That's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes. If you don't get it, you'll never pass that. You'll never talk about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots make it automatically corrupt. If you have mail-in ballots, automatically it's correct. Even Jimmy Carter, they had the Carter Commission after he got out of office, and he had a group of very distinguished people, Democrats and Republicans, and they passed, they recommended things take place. It was a long time ago. And they said
automatic.
about
Still
mail-in
is.
ballots, if there is
Blacking
mail-in
out.
ballots,
Automatic.
there will definitely be corruption because, they pass through too many hands. I mean, you go in to vote, and they want your card. Even me, I went into Palm Beach. You go in to vote, they want your card, you're this, you're that. They say, I'm sorry to do this, sir, but I have to look at your identification. I said, that's all right. I love that. But you're really not going to get away with much. It was very, very professional and very good, the way it's supposed to be. But these people don't want that. They have legislation in California where it's illegal to ask somebody for voter ID. If you ask somebody for voter ID, if you're an official, and you say, I'd like to see your voter ID, they can arrest you. Okay?
That, I'll do
They can
another
arrest you
quick fact
because
check
they want
there.
to cheat. And they get away with it. And the Republicans let them get away with it. And we won't do that if we have the filibuster. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And we're going to see if we can sway, because I know we have a lot of, not a lot, I'd say half feel this way, maybe a little bit less than half. And it's time to have a really good talk. If I thought that they weren't going to pass the filibuster, I wouldn't even bring it up. They're going to pass it within the first hour. If they take power, and it's more likely that they take power if we don't do it, because we're not going to be passing any.
Prohibited from compelling voters. So... Yeah, I mean, it seems like this is the case that you can't demand a voter show their ID. Yeah, okay.
Any legislation. They're not going to approve anything. We're going to go 3 and
But also, like, you have to identify yourself when you register to vote. Like, it's not like you, you do have to register to vote. You can't just vote. You have to sign up, which requires ID or some kind of identification. Like, yeah.
a quarter years, there won't be one bill that we're going to pass. Because the easiest thing to pass is exactly right now what they won't pass. And they'll do that, and they'll wreak havoc. But let's assume they get in. They're doing it anyway, so it wouldn't matter. They're doing it anyway. And, I have a case where I have great U.S. attorneys that can't be approved because of the blue slips. The blue slips, I think you should terminate blue slips, too. It's a
What happened to Obama's Supreme Court pick?
mental termination because it's really a custom. But if you have a Democrat senator or two is bad, but it doesn't make any difference. If you have one senator writes a negative letter on some great U.S. attorney, we had it in Manhattan, Southern District. Jay Clayton, one of the most respected lawyers in the whole country, by far, one of the most respected, and couldn't get approved. The courts approved him. The courts couldn't believe it. They did it like instantly. He went to the best schools, got the best marks, top of his class. Everything was perfect.
Is going
he was,
on Truth
like lived the
Social?
perfect life. Went to Sullivan and Cromwell.
I'll show this
Almost
after this
immediately
video.
became the head of Sullivan and Cromwell. You know, the most prestigious law firm, I would say, in the country, just about. Whether it's Sullivan or two or three I could name, but Sullivan.
Okay, you can have a good background and not pass a character test. Like, I don't know about this guy specifically. I'm just saying there's more that is evaluated.
Sullivan, I would say, really, maybe number one. He was the head of Sullivan and Cromwell for like 20 years. He went to the SEC, was flawless. He did it for me. He was the SEC chairman. He was flawless. Then he went to Apollo, where he was the chairman of Apollo, and it was flawless. Everything went good. The stock went through the roof and everything. I asked him to go to the Southern District. And he said,
Trump,
do
your
what you like to
populist
do."
rhetoric.
He's a very high.
No, you got to lean back on what got you elected. Populism's still popular. Mamdani just won. You can't be talking about the stock market. No, Donald, no, don't do it. Don't default to neocon talking points.
Quality close, but he couldn't get
Something like
approval
that.
from Schumer. Schumer didn't approve him. The best student, the best schools, everything. He's like flawless. And the courts actually said, "You're not approving Jay Clayton, right, Lindsay? You heard this." The courts actually interceded, and they approved him. But that's an unusual guy. We have other people that are really good.
I refuse to care about this until Mitch McConnell says sorry.
But people don't know how good. Top students, top colleges, and they're U.S. attorneys, and they won't be approved. They're not going to be approved. We have one in Los Angeles who's phenomenal, but no, the senators, the Democrats are, again, they're kamikazes. The Democrats are not going to approve them. Blue slips are a disaster. So the only people I can get approved are Democrats. I was told that by the Democrats. We'll only approve Democrats.
Oh,
I said, really? Is that right? Well,
dude.
Not going to work that way. Not going to work that way with me. But the blue slips
So
are a
nice.
total disaster. I have 10 people right now that are doing a phenomenal job, and they will be out of office pretty soon. They've got another 2-3 weeks, a couple of them, and then they're going to have to leave. And it's actually a blight on their record because, nobody knows
Fucking A.
why they left. But
Did not mean to
it looks
open
like
that.
they served 8 weeks and then they had to leave. But they're not going to get the approval because the Democrat, radical left lunatic senators are saying you can't, we're not going to approve you. And if we're not going to approve you, I had actually one Republican who got 2 great letters, but it turned out that he was a rhino, but that was a nice term for him. Now, he got 2 letters of approval, and when I said 2 Democrats approved him, I had to fire him because I figured if 2 Democrats approved him, they
How toxic is that mentality? And like Marco Rubio too said this, where it's like, oh well, I got 99 votes in the Senate, and then Trump's like, is that a good thing? Remember when Republicans had a meltdown about the word deplorables? I still have that brought up to me when I say, look, no matter where you sit, unless you really are bought into the Trump stuff, you should probably vote Democrat. It's better. Radical left, lunatic communists, evil, destroying our country. Whoa! You said that that some of MAGA is deplorable? Whoa! Yeah, no, people still soy out about that. Dude, crazy shit.
wrote the most beautiful letters. I found out, man, this is strange. And he was no good. I fired him. He was really not much of a Republican.
Also, having Democrats approve you is seen as a negative thing, which is just insane. The buy-in for Trump is that there is no approval. He wants to get all this shit passed while also having no input from the Democrats or no buy-in or even any agreement. If a Democrat says, okay, maybe we can get behind this, then he's like, okay, maybe I must be doing something wrong. That is crazy. That's a very understated thing, but it's been a prevalent thing. It's like he doesn't want to listen to the minority party at all. There's no illusions of bipartisanship. And when he says things like, I don't know why people aren't passing this, they should approve everything. Because if they were to approve it, he would all of a sudden be against it.
Recommendation of that one wasn't such a good recommendation. Someday I'll tell you who recommended him, but it wasn't exactly the best. But when I saw when I saw the two senators from Virginia gave him glowing marks, Tim,
I am a huge criminal.
I said, let me see this. I read the most beautiful letters I've ever seen. I said, I called him up. I said, sorry, you're fired.
What's wrong with my taste in gaming?
And but it's a horrible thing. Blue slips is a horrible thing because I have the right to pick judges and I have the right to pick U.S. attorneys, and this takes away the right.
With the advice and consent of the of the Senate, right? Not enough Titanfall. Maybe we'll do an Arc Raiders stream tonight. We'll see.
From me, and I think we're going to go to court on it, and we'll see what happens in court. But it gives the president, it takes away the right of the president
Minor fall.
to pick people to serve on the court and to serve as U.S. attorneys.
It was Iron Fall.
But the biggest thing is the filibuster. We have to get the country going. We will pass legislation.
Speaking of gaming,
you've never seen before.
What's up?
What's up? There was if you're not done, we can do this after you're done with this segment or whatever.
Okay.
But there's a pretty new switch up in the Eve world that I can let the massive audience know about, Master Liberty.
Okay. Yeah, after this video.
Yeah.
And it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster. And when they do the filibuster, they're going to pack the court. They want at least five justices. Now I hear it's up to 5. I actually heard up to 7 and up to 9. Okay, they want new judges. They want to pack the court.
He's heard everything.
They will do it in the first day, maybe the week. Maybe they'll slow it down because there's no reason to rush. But they'll do it first week. They'll vote on this. And I have friends over there that are Democrats. I'm close to a lot of people. And I asked them about that because some people say, well, maybe they won't do that. I mean, they destroyed the career of Manchin and Sinema. And they got them out. They were the only objectors. Nobody else is going to object. They're going to do it the first day. They're going to pack the court. They're going to make D.C. a state. And they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. So now they pick up 2 states. They pick up 4 senators, okay? You think you have problems? They're going to do all of the things. They're going to pick up electoral votes.
Going to do all the.
It's going to be a very, very bad situation.
The hypothetical, they will do this. Okay, and I know I say, like, look, the Republicans are going to do this anyway, because they then go and do it. The Democrats didn't do it. Didn't pack the court. Didn't break the filibuster. People say it was between 2 votes, but I don't know. I need to look into that, but that just didn't happen.
Situation, and it's done.
And it's not popular.
As soon as they attain power. Now, if we do what I'm saying, they'll most likely never.
Whoa! Yo, buddy.
They attain power. Now, if we do what I'm saying, they'll most likely never attain power.
almost took the mask all the way off. It's like 99% of the way off. It's like, do what I tell you and they'll never have power again. I will make sure. Like, yo, okay, whoa. And the recovery is going to be something like, because our legislation is going to be super popular. It's not.
Because we will have passed every single thing that you can imagine that it's good and all good for the country. And there'll be no reason to. If we don't do that, people will say they're not doing much and they're in power. So the good news is we did the great big.
Because you have to negotiate when you're in power. You're not a king. You're the president. There's still a minority party in this country. All this after Election Day, too.
Beautiful bill, and it's the greatest thing we could have done. And the smartest thing with John and our Speaker of the House, who's so good, Mike Johnson, we did all in one bill. If we didn't, John, it would be a problem because, we would have gotten a small piece passed. A lot of people wanted to do that. A lot of people in the room wanted to do that. They went along with me and John and everybody, and we got this thing passed. Honestly, it's 4 years' worth of goodies.
Goodies.
No tax on tips,
Yeah,
no
right.
tax on Social Security, no tax on, think of it, no tax on overtime. It's an unbelievable tax cut for the workers and for business, where business is going to create jobs, and we're creating jobs at levels that nobody's ever seen before. All these things are good. We have to be able to get the word out. If we don't get the word out, we're making a very big mistake. So I have this long, beautiful, and very boring speech. I won't bother reading it.
Okay, so as of August 14th, by the way, just for the people, since we're doing the fact check on everything he's fucking saying here, the approval of Trump's tariff policy and the One Big Beautiful Bill are net 61% disapprove and 38% approve. Budget and tax law passed by Congress, 46 disapprove, 32% approve. So it's not popular. Shocking, I know. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. No, not Fox News. Jesus.
But because we can just start talking, and I think it's very important. We have to get the country open, and the way we're going to do it this afternoon is to terminate the filibuster. And it's possible you're not going to do that, and I'm going to go by your wishes. You're very smart people. You're good friends. But I think it's a tremendous mistake, really. It would be a tragic mistake, actually. It's time. It's time. If I thought they weren't going to approve, I'd sort of be with you. It'd be fine. I'd be neutral to with you. But knowing that they're going to pass it as soon as they get any semblance of control, they'll pass it first thing, then it's like we have to do it first. And we have 2 years. And we'll end up with 2-3 years, and we'll have this country so perfect. We will have passed more legislation than any Congress and any group of senators or a group of congressmen. And we will get it through. They'll send it to us. We'll send it to them. It'll be a beautiful machine. Otherwise, we're just going to sit around and argue with these people all day long. And they're highly unrealistic. Many of them are radical left.
Yeah, if you have enough people.
Frankly. So I want to thank everybody.
That's possible,
and we're going to talk. And I want to thank the press for treating us so really well for that foreign trip. It was we had just an amazing meeting. Don't forget, 2 months ago, it looked like the whole world was in trouble over rare earth. And that's no longer even a subject that people talk about. It was all worked out very quickly. Without tariffs, I couldn't have done it. I put a 100%
Without doing the most extreme thing, I'm not able to do anything. Nice.
Tariff on China. As soon as I heard it, within 20 minutes, I put a 100% tariff on China. On President Xi, who's really a friend of mine, as much as he can be a friend. He's a tough man. He's a tough man. Smart man, actually. Very smart. The press doesn't like it when I call him very smart. You know, they think I'm not supposed to call him smart. But he leads 1.4 billion people without question. In fact, during the meeting, we were there. A couple of you were there, and some of you saw it. So he's here, and he's got about 6 people on each side. And every one of those people was standing like this. They were at attention. And I made a comment to one of them, and I got no response. I said, "Are you going to answer me?" I got no response. And President Xi didn't let him have any. So if there's any question, I said, I want my cabinet to behave like that. That's the way I'm
okay. Yeah. Fuck you guys.
demanding that I want them sitting up like that, Tim, just nice and straight. I never saw posture like that. I've never seen men so scared in their lives. They have the equivalent of a vice.
I mean, is it a question that he wants to be like a Xi Jinping or a Vladimir Putin style figure? That level of fear and perceived respect, I guess.
President, he was. I said, "Are you going to answer my question?" And he's like, he doesn't move. I said, "What's wrong with this guy?" "I will answer all questions." Why don't you behave like that? JD doesn't behave like that. JD buds into conversations. I want to have that for at least a couple of days, okay, JD? We'll keep you long term, but a couple of days of that would be very, very nice. Okay, I want to thank you, and we'll talk a little bit. And I see they set me up with a podium. I thought I'd just be sitting, but it's probably easier. I want to thank you all very much. Thank you to the press, and you can go, and we'll speak.
Well, that's that. I mean, you lied about literally every single stat that was in there. I showed you the like the census data, the Fred data. Like, okay, yeah. All right, and now for the Eve Online update.
Oh, dude. This might be the biggest news of the year. At least since I've been playing. Okay, so there's like 3 large groups that basically control, I don't know, 90% of, no, that's actually not true. 80% of the GDP of like all EVE.
Okay.
And the biggest one, which has been the biggest one for like 10 fucking years, is the Imperium, basically.
The Imperium
and these are
of
like
man?
No, just the Imperium. I know, yeah, that's awesome, Warhammer. I love Warhammer. But yeah, they last year started a fight with PanFam, which is Pandemic, and then a bunch of small groups.
Okay.
And what Pandemic does is they have actually the most space and the most valuable space.
Okay.
So they should be the richest, but instead of farming it themselves, what they do is they protect the space and then allow like weaker groups to rent the space out. So basically they're like a slumlord, basically.
Okay.
And then there's the Chinese players. That's the third like large one. The Pan Fam just disbanded after fighting against the Imperium for like a year.
Oh my god.
And basically it's a very what will happen to all the renters, right? Because they're no longer protected.
So you're saying we need landlords?
Well, the landlord coalition just got destroyed.
Right. It's chaos because rentoids don't know how to do it.
Yeah, the rentoids are now right. They have all their valuable stuff in these stations, but the stations can get blown up. And the way to move the valuable ships is you need like different isotopes and like basically you need fuel. All the fuel on the market is currently being bought up by the Imperium because the Imperium makes like, has coffers beyond the wildest comprehension.
Yeah.
So they're like permanently buying up all the fuel everywhere and are slowly like pulling the net around everyone who's still left in this PanFam space.
So they've reinvented the De Beers company, which is
I don't know
the company
what that
that
is,
bought
but
all the diamonds and then slowly trickled out supply to create artificial demand.
It's more that it's more to stop them from leaving. They can't move their biggest ships without fuel.
Oh, so they're like marooning them.
Yeah, they're marooning them and then slowly inching closer to the valuable assets, right? Because there's like a lot of defenses.
Yeah.
And why is there a nerd emoji on the screen, Dustin?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, they're marooning them basically.
Gotcha.
But this was a huge shock. Like this is I would say like the second strongest coalition in the game.
God damn.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, keep us.
Oh, and
the
leader like stepped down. So while they're disbanded, the leader also stepped down. So it's like leaderless and completely fucked. Yeah.
Oh my. All right. Well, I'm sure you'll keep us apprised of all the latest updates.
Problem. This has been your Eve report.
Thank you. All right. Do we want to do Kyle Kalinske or Fox News?
The Kyle video that I shared is just a funny 2 minutes. Like it's just stupid.
All right, welcome to the show, y'all. Yeah. Welcome to the show. And I believe
like the suit.
This is a little something we like to call a celebration day.
Yeah, you'll see.
That feels good, doesn't it? That feels real good, doesn't it?
Yeah, he basically does
victory,
that.
Baby.
He just
victory.
He puts like
this is what victory feels like.
Yeah, he put like a weird filter on and he's like sucking a cigar and dancing to like free EDM music.
Yeah, I was gonna say. What is
I don't know, man. And he does this.
We love this shit. We got our Prosecco, we got our cigar. Had a few drinks last night with Crystal. I mean, wall-to-wall victory, bro. Just like complete Democratic tsunami. MAGA got wiped out. Zoran Mamdani, flawless victory, Mortal Kombat style. What are we talking?
50.1%. I'm just saying.
W.
To all, I'm gonna preempt all the sock dem socks. The Democratic Socialist candidate in Minneapolis lost to the moderate Dem. Just saying.
Yeah.
Talking about.
I mean, I saw some. I need to get off Twitter. I scrolled Twitter for a bit, and then I mean, it made sense why he kind of lost.
All right. Well, what is there?
The incumbent was good. Like people like the incumbent, basically.
Yeah. But what
So
I'm
it's
saying
not
is like this primarying or trying to usurp the establishment Dems is not as strong of a movement as Twitter leftists and Twitch leftists would have you believe. Is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But that's because people were
Ah.
satisfied with the leadership. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Exactly. It's the Dems. We're doing what we can. Right.
What are we talking about? So,
What are we talking about,
I hope
Kyle?
they're ready. I hope they're ready for 2026. I hope they're ready for 2028. Because we're here, bitch.
Okay. Crab rave ass. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, yesterday was definitely was feeling this energy. All right. I wanted to watch this because I heard this was a good segment. Let me just make sure this isn't live yet. Okay. We'll keep that.
Electoral candidate Vivek Ramaswamy urging his fellow Republicans to learn from last night's losses and reprioritize. Watch.
We got handed to us in New Jersey, Virginia, and New York City. Democrats swept all three. There's two key lessons for Republicans. Listen carefully. Number one, our side needs to focus on affordability. Make the American dream affordable. Bring down costs, electric costs, grocery costs, healthcare costs, and housing costs, and lay out how we're going to do it.
This as a new poll finds about 70% of Americans say groceries are more expensive now than they were a
Who is the 29%? What? Oh my god. It is actually like about 30% of people that just close their eyes. They've got Trump's dick as a fucking AirPod, and that's it. That's their perception of the world.
year ago. And about 60% of them are blaming President Trump. According to our Fox News voter polling, the economy and cost of living were the biggest issues for voters in New York City's mayoral race and New Jersey and Virginia's governor's races. And in all of those races, the Democrat or Democratic Socialist won. This morning, Trump pointed to the shutdown as a possible strike against Republican candidates. Watch.
Last night, it was
No.
not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. Also about the shutdown and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor. But I don't know about that, but I was honored that they said that.
All right, Brian Kilmeade, what's your analysis?
Wow,
Oh, God.
I mean, we represent the morning shows today, so we've been doing this for a while. A couple of things. Republicans did not have a good day. So anyone who says, well, not really that bad. No, it was bad. Jack Ciattarelli, I thought, was a really strong candidate. I thought his message was clear and crisp. I was surprised he lost I was surprised he lost at all, let alone by double digits. But you live in New Jersey, I live in Long Island, where there's a sliver of Nassau County, as you know, did very well. And Bruce Blakeman is the Nassau County executive, might even run for governor, at least Stefanik too. And I think the governor's race next year becomes really intriguing in New York. And I think a lot of people left Manhattan, left you, Rosanna, and they went out to Long Island to get away. A lot of people went down to Florida, and I thought it was an interesting stat last night that Ron DeSantis said, when I took office, there were 300,000 more Democrats than Republicans. Now we have 1 million more Republicans. So America is voting with their feet. And I think in a way it's a little scary because we're really separating as a country, not in a straight line like the Civil War, but we're in boxes. Okay, I'm out of this state. I don't
That's
agree.
the problem,
That's
is
scary.
the lines that we're separating on. Okay.
They tried to do is nationalize in New Jersey, and they tried to nationalize in Virginia, and they were effective. They ran against Trump. Trump wouldn't have won and has not won in either one of those states. And the candidates were unable to overcome it. In the case of Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, great biography, not a strong candidate. So I don't think she was going to win. The biggest shocker, the second biggest shocker to me is the Attorney General's story. And for Jay Jones to win, I'm stunned by that. I'm stunned that the people of Virginia don't have higher standards.
All right, Rosanna, I want to go to you now.
So on the was Jane Jones win, I think that's a really big indictment of Trump because those texts were disqualifying enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm good if we lose this one. But I mean, that wasn't even that close. Like, I think it's a pretty serious indictment of Trump if people are willing to look past stuff like that. Damn.
I'll respond to everything, but also let's play a Mamdani clip because I want to get your thoughts on Mamdani in that particular race, guys. Roll.
I think the lesson for the president is that it's not enough to diagnose the crisis in working class Americans' lives. You have to deliver on addressing that crisis. This is a president who ran a campaign on the promise of cheaper groceries, and now, as was said by one of our co-chairs, has gone.
Yeah, just really quick. Like, that's 52.7% to 46.9%. That's a pretty sizable margin. I'm very surprised. There we go. Oh my God. There we
Gone
go.
so far as to cut SNAP benefits for close to 2 million New Yorkers. Someone who is literally making it harder to afford those same groceries whose price he was decrying not that long ago. And what scares Republicans across the country is the fact that we will actually deliver on this agenda. And the contrast is something that they cannot bear to witness.
You interviewed him, first of all.
I've interviewed him a bunch of times on Good Day New York. Listen, he's very charismatic. He knows the buzzwords. Sometimes his words can be into word salad, but he knows how to get everybody's attention. And I'm not so sure.
It's just the lack of self-reflection. Can we think of another person that might fit this description?
Sure, picking on the president on the first day that you've won the election is the smartest thing that you could possibly do. And yes, affordability is a problem in New York City for everyone. And you know what we're seeing? People are leaving, and it's because of taxes. Now Mr. Mamdani has run on Tax the Rich. They're the ones paying for everything. If they start moving, and they are. And you know how we know? Because we're getting a snapshot from the Department of Education. We now learned that at one point we had 1.1 million kids in New York City public schools. We're down to about 800,000.
Wow, so I'm going to dip, or maybe I'm just going to
We've seen that many people move their families out of New York City for a number of reasons. Taxes, not happy with the way the public school system is going, dumbing down the curriculum to basically make sure that the lowest in the class is the focus rather than the one who's the smartest and making everybody rise. Listen, I'm an intrepid New Yorker. I've been singing to myself all day, we will survive, okay? Because we want New York to survive. Do I think Mr. Mamdani can do everything he says he wants to do? I don't know. We had Mayor Adams on our show.
This could be played in like
he talked
2008.
about the rent board.
Like,
he gets
it's the same.
6 choices to stay on the rent
Same
board
fucking
before
talking
he
points.
leaves
That's
office
crazy.
at the end of December. Those people will decide whether they're going to freeze the rent, which has also been one of the campaign slogans for Mr. Mamdani. So what I'm saying is Mr. Mamdani may not do everything that he says or promises. But like I said, we're
Who's
intrepid New Yorkers. We'll get through this, and we're hoping for the best for New York City.
Yeah, I woke up feeling so
Jessica
sad today,
Tarlov.
but
I think
also
she
just
had,
praying a lot, knowing that God is in control and everything is going to be okay. But Kaylee, I want to get your thoughts on everything, but also this in particular. So we know that Mamdani won by a little over 1 million votes, 1,036,000, and the combination of
had a
Sliwa
segment
and
recently that was
Cuomo
pretty
added
good.
basically about another 1 million. But the population in New York City is over 8 million. So is part of the issue for Republicans voter turnout? And is part of the issue that you're shaking your head no?
Because they had the highest turnout since 1960.
Yeah.
But that's
Oh no. Fact check live. The infighting begins.
But you guys, that's still the majority of people didn't vote.
This is one of the bluest places in the country. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
The last time there was a Republican mayor that won was Mike Bloomberg. You're going
Cuomo's
back to
blue
the
too.
early
That's
2000s.
my point. That it's, I'm not saying. I mean,
Yeah,
Sliwa
and normally-
ruined it, frankly, but I want to, why not for Cuomo then? I think the reality is I want to hear what you have to say. Actually.
Normally a Democrat gets upper 60, 70%, and you had Mamdani nowhere near that. This is a deep blue jurisdiction. Democrats were divided.
Yeah, what was the other one? It was still a Democrat. Like, Republicans got 7% of the vote.
On this. Republicans just aren't going to win the city. It's deeply blue. It's getting bluer. People are leaving the city. There's been a decrease 2% of millionaires in the city. There's been a decrease of 10% those making $10 million or more. Those are the people he's going to need the money from. But wait, they're out. We already have in this city the #1 welfare and education spending of anywhere in the country. Very few results to show for it. But I like what The Economist said. They said the goal of affordability from Mamdani is worthy, but not his methods. His methods, as I just laid out, do not work. But Donald Trump's methods do work on this issue. Donald Trump gave Joe Biden, this is...
Okay. Oh my God. Mamdani's gonna tax people. What do you think a tariff is? Just definitionally, it creates deadweight loss and a tax on the consumer. It eats in entirely to consumer surplus. Like, it's... I don't think Mamdani's methods are going to be that effective. That being said, Trump's are demonstrably not effective. We can see it. We can look at information. We know the CPI. Like, that's just nuts.
is a fact, 1.4% inflation. You had Joe Biden that drove that up to 9.1%. Hand you 1.4,
Forgetting COVID ever
9.1.
existed.
Donald Trump is successful 9 months in at bringing down prices. A dozen eggs, the price has dropped 79%. National average of gasoline dropped $3 per gallon in the first week of November. He beat market expectations in September with the inflation rate at 2.5%.
It's what the fuck? That's all I had to click. All right, whatever.
Now, Ohio gubernator.
Thus ends this part of the Fox News shit. Such bull. Oh my god. Is this happening yet? No. No. Keep an ear out for that. There's this Trump speech at a business forum. I just want to know if Tarlov is ever on. I thought I saw something on it. Whatever. This will be a good segment. The Fox News meltdown over Mamdani and other Dems. Oh, it's sweet. It is so sweet.
Its next mayor. Now, he will become the first Muslim mayor of the city and its youngest in more than a century. Not really a surprise. I don't know why people were waking up in the last, 2.5 weeks. I think they should have woke up after the primary where he...
Almost got it. You almost got it. When just so I don't say something stupid here, did Mamdani win the primary? June 24th, 2025. It was still an indictment. Mamdani winning the primary was an indictment on Trump. It's like, okay, it was a reaction in the other direction. They all have to talk about the fucking pendulum. That was the pendulum swinging.
Handily defeated Andrew Cuomo. But back to your analysis, because I think this is very key. I thought that Andrew ran a very lackluster campaign. I think taking 10 days off after Labor Day is unthinkable if you're a candidate. I think he spent way too much time out in the Hamptons, and he didn't have a message that resonated, and he still had a hangover of hatred for the time he was governor. That all worked against him.
I think there'll also be this debate if he had another week or 2 weeks. Would that have been enough to close the gap? And I'm not sure, based on the numbers we're seeing right now. Cuomo got his act together in the last couple of weeks. He was doing a lot more interviews. He was out there. And, Sean, I will tell you, there's a reason why politicians spend a year in Iowa. They go out there to refine their message, to be able to answer every question on every topic possible and do it within 30 seconds' time. Cuomo was out of political talking shape, period. Now, he got his sea legs under him in the last couple of weeks and showed up on Fox many times, showed up on MSNBC and CNN, made himself much more available.
Of shit,
but there'll be pieces written as to whether or not this was the right way to run a campaign. And if you had another week or 2 weeks' time, could you have closed the gap on Mamdani tonight? And that's a question we'll...
I highly doubt that.
Never know, Sean, but it'll certainly be talked about and written about.
Bill Hemmer, amazing coverage. We'll get back to you at the big board coming up. We are ready. Projection time. The Fox News decision desk can now project that Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill will, in fact, become the next Democratic governor of New Jersey. Now, Sherrill defeats Republican Jack Ciattarelli, whom President Trump endorsed in May. The GOP had hoped that Ciattarelli could deliver an upset after a very close loss 4 years ago. We're going to bring back Brett and Martha to get reaction to this. Brett, I'll go back to the numbers that I threw at Martha earlier. Nearly 1 million voter advantage, Democrat over Republican in that state. Nearly a 250,000 people in New Jersey left that state. That, that to me is a math problem for Republicans if they ever want to flip a state like New Jersey.
Always. And in a state like New Jersey, as Martha talked about, it is like Lucy and the football and Charlie Brown. I mean, there is this thought that maybe this is the time, and it changes the dynamic. And I will say there was a lot of optimism heading in for Jack Ciattarelli. But Mikey Sherrill had an advantage.
Are you telling me... Now, this is an interesting point, because they're talking a lot about how Republicans moving away from places has caused a greater Democratic hold, which, yeah, necessarily so. Why are people moving? Is it potentially part of this disparate information environment where if you lie, all your news is lying, and your underlying basis of facts is just not in tune with reality, all of a sudden you feel like an alien wherever you are because you just don't live in the same world as other people, so you have to go not only online live in your information bubble or in cable, but also physically. Because you have nothing to talk about with people around you. You guys are becoming less and less peers. Which is just scary for everybody involved. I think it's just another symptom of how disparate our information environments have become.
Advantage. She didn't perform well in the early debates. She was asked about sales tax and taxes overall. She said, I'm not going to answer that right now in a debate. And it became a big thing. Then there was the controversy over the cheating scandal at Annapolis. And it really stalled the campaign for a couple of weeks. In the final days, President Obama came in. She got a lot of support, and she started seeing early vote numbers tick up, according to her campaign. And, it's enough in that environment to pull out a blue state.
Yeah, you look at the urban centers in New Jersey, and she really ran up the vote. Essex County as well, places like Montclair, suburban areas outside of New York. She did very well with women voters. We saw the same thing with Spanberger in Virginia.
Mamdani killed it with women voters.
Presented themselves
they get like
as
90%.
moderate women with military and CIA background. And so I think you're going to have Democrats looking at that model as something that is successful for them, Sean. And I would imagine that you're going to see them seek out candidates that reflect that. It's just very interesting to me when you look at President Trump's numbers in 2024 in New Jersey. Just 9 months ago, he was able to turn 5 counties in New Jersey solidly
red. And those counties did not follow that pattern with Jack Ciattarelli. And it just raises a lot of questions about whether or not anybody but President Trump can move the ball in these kinds of places. Ciattarelli ran a very Trump-like campaign. He embraced him in the state of New Jersey. I think one of the questions that is going to continue to crop up
on this
are
20
questions about
or 4
the
of a kind
economy.
here.
President Trump is very popular across the country in most
Sorry, you said.
state of New Jersey. I think one of the questions that is going to continue to crop up are questions about the economy. President Trump is very popular across the country in most of the approval numbers, but these questions about the economy.
What? According to who? On the economy, especially, his approval numbers are awful. Trump approval rating by issue. Sorry, that is so just not the case. Like, it's Fox News, I get it, but it still astounds me at how blatantly they could lie. Like, the do not believe your eyes. His approval rate is 42%. Okay, then immigration, it's still underwater. The economy is down by 17%, 17.6. There's nothing. Even his main campaign promises on immigration, he doesn't have positive approval rating. What polls are they citing? Here's a law that must be passed. When you cite a stat on national TV, you have to source it. Something like that. Right? It just we can't have people. It's 30% of the country. It's 30% of the country that are diehard that actually believe this shit.
Economy continue to be raised, and I think
it's not even that you have to tell the truth. You could cite a bad source, but we just have to know the fucking source.
that when you look at Hispanic areas and black
yes, exactly.
parts of New Jersey as well, where he did not do the kind of numbers that we've seen from President Trump, it'll show areas where Republicans will need to do some work in the coming months before the midterm.
Yeah, affordability is the mantra, Sean. I mean, it's the mantra for Zohran Mamdani here in New York City.
You know, a couple of things to point out. Both of you make great observations. One, Trump is not on the ballot tonight.
That's another big lie source on them making great observations. Okay, now I'm being a little. But it's Fox, so whatever.
The Ciattarelli campaign
I'm doing my
determined
civic
that
duty.
bringing Donald Trump into New Jersey, probably not a good idea, being a deep blue state that it is. Let me run through some numbers.
No
I
more
know,
Nancy
Martha,
Pelosi,
you know
true.
these numbers very well. The tax foundation,
They already do.
the people in New Jersey, those residents have the second highest overall tax burden in the entire country. They're 49th out of 50. That means the highest.
What I think this is also showing is people are willing to pay higher taxes if it goes to programs that help affordability. The Republican line of taxes are necessarily bad is getting very tired, and people are just not accepting that as gospel anymore.
Property taxes in the country. That means New Jersey has the fourth highest income tax in the country. They also have the highest corporate tax
And if they
rate
don't
in
live
the
in a
country.
terrible place,
It went up again this
exactly.
year. 45 cents a gallon gas tax, again, among the highest in the country. State sales tax, among the highest in the country. You know.
And you know where people are still living? Fucking New Jersey. It's like, sorry. People want to live where the things are, and the things are in blue cities.
New Jersey has the highest inheritance
Why do I have
tax
4 notifications?
of 16%. Florida has 0 inheritance
comments,
tax,
right? Yeah,
much lower property taxes, no income taxes, and better, weather on top of everything, but, better infrastructure.
You know what's funny is as people move to these like places in like Florida and Texas, they're gonna become more blue, and Fox News is gonna be sitting there digging in their butt trying to come up with a fucking answer to that. It's just in economic zones, you tend to vote blue.
Structure on top of everything else. So, You know, it really says a lot to me. What does it say to you, Martha? I know you love New Jersey.
Totally depressing me about all of the taxes that we have to pay New Jersey. No, it's a terrible
I'm not trying to do that, but those numbers are insane.
No, I mean, I don't know, you guys, but you know, it raises a question about why the argument that Chitterelli has been making that you want to lower taxes is not compelling enough for all of these New Jersey.
Yeah, that is something you have to contend with, Fox News.
Voters. I mean, it's a very obvious question. And then you have Zohran Mamdani, who is saying, well, we're just going to raise the corporate tax rate to match New Jersey. You know, so don't worry about it, because it's only going to be like New Jersey, which, as you point out, is the highest corporate tax rate in the country. But I don't know. I'm going to just be scrolling through the real estate pages here now, Sean, looking for a new place.
I think we can find you.
I don't know if I'll read that message out loud, but that's really funny.
Place to do your show. I know a place. It's available, and you're welcome to use it. You'll do a great job wherever you are. Guys, stay right there. We're going to get back to you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox
I will
News
not be
YouTube
doing that,
page
Sean.
and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
That's for sure.
We can now make a call. The Fox News decision desk can now project that Democrat
Now,
Jay Jones.
This guy, given the text, does not have my endorsement. I think it's a sign of how hard people hate Trump, but I don't think this is a good face for those texts are.
Will become
It should have been
Virginia's
disqualifying.
next Attorney General, defeating the Republican incumbent, Jason Miyares. Now, October, you may recall, Jones apologized for text messages that he had sent where he imagined putting 2 bullets to the head of the Speaker of the House of Commons and then wishing the death of that lawmaker's children and urinating on the grave. And it was even worse than that in this sense. There was no Democrat in Virginia, really, Brett and Martha, to bring you back. Martha, we'll go to you first, that was willing to condemn these remarks and distance.
I don't know. I would be astonished if that's true, given that he himself was like, yeah, that was fucked up. I made a personal apology.
Themselves and suggest that he get out of that race.
I don't know what to look up to
like
get a concise answer to that. If someone has a search term that might work, let me know.
You know, the bar has obviously been lowered to a point that we never would have anticipated. I mean, think about the fact that Joe Biden once dropped out of a presidential race because there was an accusation that he had plagiarized a section of a speech, okay? And that derailed a presidential race back in the late 80s. So this is where...
I'm sorry. I'm not taking this from the, sometimes people just say grab him by the pussy crowd. Okay? No. Not taking it. Okay. I get that the standards are low, but that's not... Without some self-reflection, I'm not taking it from these folks. No chance.
Where we are now, you can threaten to kill people, to kill their children, to call them fascists, to say you want to see them die in their parents' arms. And this is allowed. This is acceptable. This is
not
even
defending
something
those
that
statements.
Forces the candidate to be so embarrassed and feel so terrible that they, you know, get up to that podium and say, you know what, I got to step aside. Obviously, that was a huge misjudgment on my part.
And then Abigail Spanberger is asked about it 4 times in a debate and doesn't say she's pulling back the endorsement. She's asked about it for several days on the campaign trail. It does sputter her campaign. She pulls out a win, but never really denounces or pulls back the endorsement of Jones. And here you have it. Now, you know, Democrats in Virginia are going to deal with that as well.
Top law enforcement official in the state.
I'm looking, Brett, at these numbers. I want your take on it. Winsome Sears lost. The bottom dropped out of her campaign. Now, that was picked up by my friends Robert Cahaly and Matt Towery. Their last poll had her down by double digits. As you can see, if we can put up that number again in terms of Attorney General, it is a much tighter race. and obviously Winsome Sears became a drag for Jason Miyares. Rather shocking in this case that Jones won this race to me, Brett. He did outperform
I mean,
Winsome
listen,
Sears.
He apologized. He came out and did an on-camera apology. He continued to campaign, saying it was, he was joking and moved on. But he was asked about it every stop, every interview he did. Abigail Spanberger was asked.
Yeah, and what that shows is it wasn't enough. It wasn't, that mark against him didn't outweigh the indictment of Trump. So, I mean, take from that what you will. Yeah.
A lot of interviews, and yet here you have it. I think it does show, to your point earlier, that Virginia is trending more blue than purplish right now. And does that have to do with the government shutdown? Does that have to do with all the government workers in Fairfax County? Does it have to do with a shift that we're seeing there? I don't know. Yeah. But President Trump's not on the ballot, and President Trump made Virginia very tight in 2024.
One of my criticisms after 24, the Democrats, there was no introspection. There was no.
Okay, I don't know how long anyone here has been a Democrat, but that introspection line, we introspected, and then we moved on, and now we're winning.
Self-reflection. There was no course correction, as I say.
And this is also just a total lie. There was a lot
tonight,
of
even though we're
self-reflection and
about, in my
course
view,
correction.
three
Holy
very blue
shit.
states.
Even still, we're trying to tear each other's throats out, talking about how, well, this is not the right way for a Democrat to, this is the, and then, like, you look at the Republicans, they're like, I'm passing the shove a stick up my ass law of 1942. And people are like, yeah, whatever. So anyways, the Democrats, it's like, don't.
And I think
not
the
taking
one
this from
big
you,
thing
Sean
that pops
Hannity.
off the page to me, Martha, is the economy. And I know the president has been doing any and everything, a very heavy lift on foreign policy. He laid the foundation for his economic success. He has his plan in place, but there is a lag period between putting that in place and actually seeing the growth that you want and are predicting that I believe will occur. I would like to see more talk about the economy moving forward from Republicans.
You can't continually lie about the economy. They don't believe you. Your own poll that you just put up showed you that the people don't believe you.
Get out of the.
I was hoping to get Lucky Cat here.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And, this idea of affordability, which just basically means inflation, that prices are too high, and that's a real.
Not just inflation. It also pertains to, actually we could do hack. It also pertains a lot to housing, where there's supply shortages. You need to let people build, which is supposed to be y'all's platform, but that's not happening.
Sensitivity spot for people is, I think, something that Republicans do have to look carefully at. It's obvious that they're very aware of it. I saw James Blair today on with Larry Kudlow talking about how he believes that what they're seeing in the future indicator economic numbers are very positive. Scott Bessent has implied the same thing. So
how much stock are you going to put in that? That's
obviously, before you get to the midterms, Republicans are going to want to work on making sure that that is tangible, that that people feel that increase. And I think if the economy is stupid, it ends up being the simple story of a lot of elections, and I think that's clearly one of the lines here.
Brett, to add a little context to that, we have trillions in committed monies that the president has secured for
show me a signed deal.
Manufacturing, and add to that bonus depreciation, which would incentivize companies to build faster. That would include automobiles, pharmaceuticals. That would include rare earth.
For those bonus depreciations, where you could depreciate an asset immediately instead of spending it or like going all the way through its depreciation period. It makes the cash flows a little bit easier, or the discounted cash flows a little bit more attractive.
and also semiconductor chips and things like that. Also, the largest tax cut in history. Reagan did it. We had 21 million new jobs created, massive economic growth, the longest period of peacetime economic growth in history to that point. And then you add the energy component, which I don't think you can fully calculate. So there are building blocks in place.
We did. All right,
I believe, for great economic growth. How soon will we see it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think, the projection by Besson and others is you get to first quarter 26 and you start to feel it. But there is this disparity. Big companies are doing great. If you look at Wall Street, they had some great runs there over the past few weeks and the highest ever. But the disparity of feeling it in the lower section, in the folks who, don't have a lot in the stock market.
Negative photograph, and I can't afford it.
There is, a push and pull of affordability and paying for things that has not equaled out. The tariff thing.
What? No, my economics are not trickling down. No.
Thing is a big part of the president's policies, which is why this hearing at the Supreme Court tomorrow, the beginning of this emergency decision that they're going to make on tariffs, is going to be really crucial.
All right, now, just for our audience knowledge, you guys will be taking over at 10 p.m. Eastern. That's 8 minutes from right now. Brett and Martha, we have yet to hear from any of the candidates on either side. I'm sure you'll be carrying those speeches tonight. I want to thank both of you for joining us tonight, and we'll be watching your coverage all throughout the night. Here with reaction to all of tonight's results, pollsters Matt Towery, Robert Cahaly. Well, I got to tip my hat to you. Both of you in your last poll showed the bottom dropped out for Winsome Sears. I believe it had a major impact on the AG race there. Matt Towery, what happened?
Well, it's bigger than that. I'm going to go very quickly because I know that we don't have much time. Shutdown, shutdown, shutdown. That had a big effect on this election. We saw many Republicans start to go down as the weeks continued to go with the shutdown. Tomorrow, the legacy media is going to say it's Donald Trump. It's all his trouble. It's not. It was a shutdown. Number two.
Who owns the shutdown?
Republicans have to figure out how to get the vote out. I agree with Kellyanne. In Georgia today, you had two statewide elected officials, Republicans defeated at a massive level. No one's looking at it, but the GOP has to figure out how to turn out races without Donald Trump on the ballot.
I think that's well said. Robert, let's get your take. Would you ever imagine Zoran?
Am I unhinged for thinking, obviously Trump was on the ballot. The Republicans that may have been elected, that was representative of Trump.
Nani winning with his radical positions in New York City?
A simple answer to that is yes. It's New York City. But I agree with Matt.
That's true.
Shutdown is everything. I mean, when you have a country
well, Robert, let me stop
so
you. Are you talking
people,
about when you say shutdown, are you specifically really referring to Virginia, considering in Northern Virginia so many people were impacted by this government shutdown? And why didn't they blame Schumer? Because I would argue he shut it down.
Well, absolutely. But here's the thing. You've got so many people.
This guy looks like he's from a cartoon. This isn't a real guy. This is not a real guy. This is a caricature of a guy.
Depend on the government for either aid or a paycheck. And when that is stopped, they're going to blame the party in power. And when Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the President, they don't understand all the details of filibuster. I mean, they understand the Republicans are in control, and that check's in jeopardy. And so when that check is in jeopardy, when that aid is in jeopardy, whether it's actually in jeopardy or they just perceive it's in jeopardy, they're going to vote their pocketbook, even if they ideologically feel a different way. That's what they were talking about earlier. Like Kellyanne said, that all these numbers said they were going to vote one way based on how they felt about issues like crime, but they voted the other way. I think people are voting their pocketbooks, and Trump was right. The shutdown needed to end, and filibuster, whatever it took, nuclear option, it's got to stop.
These are pollsters, by the way, the people that are supposed to get you the information that you rely on. I don't know if they're supposed to be ideologues.
Well, I hope for the sake of people, especially if they're going to lose SNAP benefits, I don't want to come on the air and have to beg people to go to their local.
We don't want you to come on the air either, Sean. Don't worry.
Bank, and that may be next. Thank you both.
Fox News alert, it's 8 o'clock and polls have closed in New Jersey. The Fox News decision desk believes the governor's race in the Garden State is close. Democratic candidate Mikey Sherrill leads. The Fox News decision desk can also project that Democrat Abigail Spanberger will become the next governor of Virginia.
Oh.
Spanberger defeats Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Let's bring in Fox News chief political anchor Brett Baer and the anchor of The Story, Martha McCallum. Were you surprised, Brett, that that was called early?
No, you know, it's a purple state, but it's bluish purple. Winsome Earl Sears did close the gap heading into Election Day, but, you know, there was a Democratic push. She was a decent candidate to begin with. She had some stumbles because of the Attorney General's race, which, by the way, we haven't called yet, Jay Jones, although he is seeing increase in the polls, the numbers that we're seeing. But because of that, I think there was a stumble and a belief that Winsome Earl Sears could close the gap. Too little, too late. And Abigail Spanberger will become the first female governor of the Commonwealth. She was the person that Democrats said, listen, this is a moderate. She's going to be the example for Democrats going forward. Republicans said she wasn't a moderate. She voted with Nancy Pelosi almost all the time. And but she will become the next Virginia governor.
But this race for AG, where the guy says that he wanted to kill Republican kids, we can't call that yet. Are you surprised that we haven't been able to call that yet? I mean, most people that I know would say, heck no with a guy like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a percentage of Virginia voters who said that they found those comments concerning, but not disqualifying. And we saw that Spanberger really tried to just sort of sidestep this whole issue. She was pressed upon to say that he should drop out of the race. I mean, it really, really lowers the bar for what is required. I mean, think about the fact that Joe Biden once dropped out of a presidential race because there was some plagiarism.
I would disagree. I think those texts probably should have disqualified him from the primary. Yes, relatively, yes, it's almost nothing. It is pretty bad. Like I'm an advocate against shooting ourselves in the foot, like holding ourselves to too high of a standard. I think that falls below the standard we should hold ourselves to, regardless. I know. I'm not like I'm a fan of fighting dirty. I think those texts are over the new line. It just that those are too rough for a fellow like me.
In a speech that he gave, but this guy says that this family should be killed, and that the children are found.
For Republicans, it doesn't. For Democrats, it should. We should lower it, and I think it has been lowered. But we should never go as low as Republicans. I agree with you largely. I'm just saying. I'm saying if the Democrats' bar has traditionally been here, Republicans' bar has been here, we could lower the Democrats' bar to here. All right. I think those texts were too much.
And they should be killed too. But the bar for all these things has changed
and the guy
dramatically.
With the Nazi tattoo hasn't dropped out.
The
bar is so low now. You can basically do anything and stay in.
Like Graham Plattner, I can give it or take it. If he wins the primary, then he wins the primary. I think someone else should win the primary, but that's not enough for me to be like, this guy's got to get whatever they're saying.
In the race,
she was asked about 4 times in that debate. Yeah. Will you pull your endorsement? She didn't. And it was the easiest, one would think, layup to, in a political race, say, yes, I pull my endorsement. It's time to move on. But she was, it was like an albatross around her neck for the rest of that race, and that's why it was so close in the end. She is going to pull this out in a decent majority.
So was it a close one or not?
Margin, rather. And Democrats are going to feel good about this. I think they have less to feel good about in New Jersey, which looks like it's tightening.
All right, so it's tight in New Jersey. This is a state that
Harris,
I think, beat Donald Trump by about 6 points. He didn't spend any money there. And this guy, Chiarelli, had done well last time against the incumbent, Bill Murphy. It's too close to call. What does that tell you?
Well, this is the third time that Jack Ciattarelli has run for governor. The first time he didn't make it through the primary. The second time, as you pointed out, he came within 3 points of Phil Murphy. Nobody has held the same party governorship in New Jersey since 1961, which would indicate, the historical trend is that it's time for it to flip to the GOP this time around. We've certainly had a number of Republican governors in New Jersey, but this is very
so
close.
much cope today.
And Cheryl, also weathered a bit of a storm when it came to the cheating scandal at Annapolis. Ciattarelli really tried to hang that on her in a negative light. Whether or not it stuck, we don't know.
And the insider trading allegations, too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wasn't very graceful in wiggling out of those. What are your people in New Jersey telling us, Martha?
Our people in New Jersey, I do sort of, I go running around town. I see where the signs are. It is interesting in areas that are, sort of working class neighborhoods in New Jersey. You have seen a lot of Ciattarelli signs. It has felt that he had the momentum, but whether or not, the New Jersey machine will prevail tonight, that's what we're about to find out.
And we had Barack Obama had to fly in all the way from Hawaii to save both of these women.
That's right. He went to Virginia and to New Jersey. He did
They would have won with or without. It's
not go to New York City.
But he did make a phone call.
He did make a phone call, said he was really, touching on important issues, but didn't do an official endorsement. I think, obviously, the big race that has sucked up all the oxygen is the mayor's race here in New York City. And that could maybe have an effect in New Jersey because people in New Jersey look at New York City and say what happens there could mean something for us.
Do you really think that if Mondami wins, that it could have repercussions?
He's smug.
In New Jersey, Martha, you know New Jersey better than any of us here at this table.
It's true.
Well, we both live there, but you and I both live there.
I was born there. I just want to say.
Okay, good.
He's also
Jersey strong.
Jersey roots as well. It's interesting to see if you get a counterbalance vote. If people in New Jersey sort of turn out to try to balance Mamdani in the mayor's race. I also think that the other person who's watching this very closely is Elise Stefanik, because I think if Mamdani wins in New York, she may feel, Hochul wants to be governor, to stay governor there, but Mamdani didn't even endorse Hochul.
Right.
She endorsed him, and he won't endorse her because she refuses to raise taxes in this state, which is going to be a problem for
So
her.
we're not giving Mondani the win, but if he does win, Brett, what kind of damage, if he teams up with Kathy Hochul, could those two do in the state of New York?
So interestingly, the New York City mayor doesn't have as much power as the New York governor.
Right.
So she would almost be a check if she wanted to be to the New York City mayor.
Does she want to be?
When she was on that stage, it didn't look like it when she was holding up his hand, but she has said to other people and reporters that that's what she would do. It's not good enough. If he does win, and we don't know, who knows? Those polls close at 9 p.m. We'll see. It's the biggest turnout we've seen in 2 decades in New York City for a mayor's race. So, that could mean good things for Cuomo. But if he wins, Hochul will be in a much weakened position against the Republican nominee.
The retrospective watch of this.
People in New York City are calculating this. Well, I don't like Cuomo, but I might have to vote for him to stop Mondani. How much of that calculation is happening?
Well, I think one of the biggest questions is that percentage of Sliwa voters, because Trump came out and said, look, I don't...
even if you add the Sliwa and the Cuomos, Mamdani still wins.
really like either of these main candidates, but if you should go for the worst Democrat rather than the communist, is what the president said. So those Sliwa voters had to make a decision today when they went to the polls and figure out if they wanted to pull the lever for Sliwa or if they were going to go over and do what the president asked them to do and vote for Cuomo. So watch the Sliwa margins. Staten Island is obviously a big the only big conservative stronghold in New York City. If his margins are lower there than they were last time around, that's something to keep an eye on.
Does the pseudo endorsement by Donald Trump of Andrew Cuomo help Andrew Cuomo in a city like New York where they just tried to throw this president in prison? You know, this guy's like, oh, this is your guy. And then Mondami says, well, look, Donald Trump's endorsing my opponent.
Yeah, it did give Mondami a talking point ahead of Election Day, but it also may move some Sliwa voters off to vote for Cuomo. So the balance there is interesting to factor in. I think it was late. You know, it might have been earlier. Cuomo had to absorb a day of, look, he's Donald Trump's endorsed candidate. But at the same time, it probably moves some Sliwa voters.
All right, we'll see how it shakes out pretty soon. The Fox News decision desk can now project the Democratic state senator, Ghazala Hashmi, will serve as Virginia's next lieutenant governor. Hashmi will be the first ever Muslim woman elected to statewide office. She defeats Republican John Reed.
Here with more on all the news that's been breaking. Fox News contributors Ari Fleischer, Kellyanne Conway. All right,
my
Kellyanne,
God.
let's get your take on this. No surprise, really, to me
You have to.
anywhere. I'm not really surprised. I had hopes for New Jersey. It was a hope. There was a shot. There was a chance. But the math was the math. And I knew that going in. 250,000 people left in 3 years. Nearly 1 million vote advantage for Democrats, registered over Republicans. So I was realistic as well.
No doubt. This is what happened when Democrats turn out to vote in largely Democratic blue states, and that's what happened. The one curious thing, though, Sean and Ari, is that the voters...
This is your reminder to get out and vote, because if we lose again, they get to be the smug ones. It is so much more fun to be the smug one.
told pollsters they want lower taxes, fewer regulations, less crime, less chaos with respect to migration. They want to make sure that the police are respected and that their values are reflected. And then they went and voted against all of that today in the form of these governors. Look, Jack Ciattarelli, we were all very hopeful, but guess what? The Fox News voter analysis suggests that he failed to win young men and to replicate what President Trump did one short year ago with Hispanics, with union households,
A short
with
year?
independents.
Okay,
so to
sure,
the extent
sure.
that tonight is a referendum on President Trump at all, guess what? It means that he's one of one.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you cope any harder? Oh my God. I need to hear that again. That was
With Hispanics,
golden.
with union households, with independents. So to the extent that tonight is a referendum on President Trump at all, guess what? It means that he's one of one. You can get his endorsement, and this is a clarion call for 2026, folks. You can have President Trump's endorsement. It doesn't mean you're going to win. You have to do what he did.
It's so close to getting it. Oh my God.
You have to go and dip into these unfamiliar to Republican constituencies. You've got to be very specific and granular and show up every single moment. One quick point about Virginia. Spanberger's margin of victory is so large, Sean, that she brought over that Jay Jones character to be the chief law enforcement officer of Virginia. He barely won. He won by a far smaller margin than she did.
He won by like 6%. Hang on. We have that somewhere here. Yeah, we do. Right? No, oh my God. So Spanberger results page, yeah. Okay. A 15-point spread. A 6-point spread. Like, this is not a small margin. Even though it's smaller than the other margins, it is still a massive margin.
She dragged him over, and now he should be a drag on her. Because, my goodness, we've got a socialist, anti-Semite, pro-Hamas guy as mayor of New York, and the chief law enforcement officer in Virginia.
Zoran is not anti-Semitic. He's not. I don't know if I'd say he's not. He's not going to endorse, like, actual. Actually, I don't feel too confident making strong. He's not anti-Semitic.
Virginia, in the age of political assassination attempts and successful attempts. We have a man who has threatened the lives of other people. I think that's one of the biggest stories of the night to me, and I also think that Republicans got to do what they did in 2024 with President Trump, get that vote out early, swamp the vote. Look, for me, early voting is 7 a.m. on Election Day, but early vote is a real thing now, and we have to step it up and participate the same way the Democrats do.
Ari Fleischer, let's get your take on tonight.
She looks like a older Pam
Blue states are blue
Bondi.
states, and that's why the Democrats won tonight. But if you take a step back, Republicans in 2022 took the House of Representatives. There was no red wave, but they took the House. 2024, they took the White House. They took the Senate. I would rather be the Republicans in having done that than the Democrats in 2025 who kept some blue governor's mansions. Looking ahead to the future, the Democrats have a horrible problem now on their hands, and his name is Zoran Mondani. Mondami will be the middle name of every Democrat running in every race around the country. And the socialist win tonight is not over. There's a race in Minnesota right now where a socialist may beat the incumbent Democratic senator of Minneapolis. Keep your eye on that race. Socialism is a growing problem for the Democratic Party.
And it'll be put to the test in New York. 99-1 odds, not going to work well. And then the Democrats can go back to being liberal and moderate. It'll be wonderful.
The more the Democrats embrace socialism with all the horrors that it entails, the crime that'll take place in New York City, the abandonment of New York City by the successful and the taxpayer, this is what's going to hurt the Democratic reputation and base going forward. It's hollowing out the Democratic Party. I would so much rather, even with tonight's bad results, be the Republicans in the big picture than the Democrats. There's also, I just want to add,
I don't know, it feels damn good to be a Democrat
It's a
today.
ballot initiative to see if voters in
Yes,
Maine want to
yes.
mandate driver's licenses in order to vote. That looks like it's going to pass.
Yes.
So outside of the
That would
bigger
be a
races
win.
here, pay attention to Minneapolis, pay attention to that ballot initiative in Maine, but it's a tough night for Republicans, but it sets up 26. Republicans are running against socialism.
Oh, I actually think I'd take that battle, that ideological battle, any day of the week, to be very honest, Ari. But Ari Fleischer, Kellyanne, great to see you both. Thank you both for joining us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
I will not be doing that, Sean Hannity. Thank you very much. Man, that was everything I needed it to be and more. Oh, it feels good.
Miami, after President Trump delivered an economic speech here to the America Business Forum. Mr. President, thanks for being here. I want to talk to you about New York City real quick. You're a New Yorker. You famously kind of had a fight with Ed Koch back in the 70s and 80s as he was a mayor. He obviously wasn't a democratic socialist, as you call the mayor-elect Zoran Mondani a communist. But is there any part of you that looks at Mondani and says, it is good for you politically to have a big foil there that you're going to talk about for the next 3 years?
You know, I'm so torn because I would like to see the new mayor do well because I love New York. I really love New York. When I left New York for Washington, New York was doing really well, but there were some bad signs. The bad sign was a guy named de Blasio. So the signs of de Blasio, that was the beginning, and it was bad. This one, we're going to look. For 1,000 years, communism has not worked. Communism or the concept of communism has not worked. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time.
Did you see his victory speech?
No, it's literally never worked. Yeah, I thought it was a very angry speech, certainly angry toward me, and I think he should be very nice to me. You know, I'm the one that sort of has to approve a lot.
Jesus. What is it? It's like I'm trying to think. It's like the kid with like a swimming pool or something. You got to be nice to. Whatever. There's an analogy. It's escaping me.
A lot of things coming to him, so he's off to a bad start.
At one point, he says, "Turn the volume up."
So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
How do you respond to that? Does that affect anything you're going to do?
It's a very dangerous statement for him to make, actually. And, you know, you talk about danger. I think it's a very dangerous statement for him to make.
Why?
He has to be a little bit respectful of Washington because if he's not, he doesn't have a chance of succeeding. And I want to make him succeed.
You have to. I'm in Discord. What? What are you talking about? Turn the volume up. Oh.
See, I want to make the city succeed. I don't want to make him succeed. I want to make the city succeed.
True.
And we'll see what happens.
Did you see reaching out to him?
I would say he should reach out to us, really. I think he should reach out. I'm here. We'll see what happens, but I would think that it would be more appropriate for him to reach out to us.
So speaking of reaching
Is that... I thought it was the person already in power that's meant to reach out to the person who just got into...
reaching out, is there a deal that can be made to end this government shutdown in your mind?
Well, I think the Democrats have become radicalized. I think, this never happened before. They always extend. An extension is very easy. It's done all the time. You extend, sometimes you extend 4 or 5 times. I mean, they become radicalized lunatics, actually, in a true sense. They should automatically extend, and we will make a deal as soon as they do. As soon as they do, we'll make a deal.
There is a deal in the works that they're talking about, at least. Senator Susan Collins talked to the House, said if they pass the continuing resolution now, this Friday, they'll pass the military construction, the veterans bills, maybe even other bills, and that would get veterans their checks by Veterans Day Monday. Would you support that?
Well, I would look at it. I mean, I'm going to look at it. They should just extend it and work on it, and we ought to work on health care together, because Obamacare has been a disaster. It's going to get a big increase, but Obamacare is not great health care, and it's very expensive, and I'd love to work with them to fix it.
This is obviously appropriate.
Okay, then don't repeal it first.
Appropriations bills one at a time, but they lump some in, get a continuing
Sounds
resolution.
quite alive right now.
Move forward.
Let's move forward. I'd like to move forward. I'd like to get it going.
In
but
this one, yeah.
It's really up.
Supposed to be giving an announcement. This was supposed to be at 11. But I don't know where the fuck he is. So, who knows? We're just kind of waiting on that one.
Up to them, and we're here. If they say yes, it's done, because we have already, we have voted just about unanimously, almost unanimously, to move forward. We're ready to do it.
A few more things. You said Republicans should get rid of the filibuster. Yeah. Based on what you said this morning, you don't really think the Democrats could never win the Senate again, right?
No, I think that if we got rid of the filibuster, we would approve so many good things, common sense things, wonderful things, that it would be hard to beat us. If we don't, it's always going to be a slog. So I do say this. I would say absolutely, without question, I have no
It's
doubt in my mind.
supposed to be a slog. As much as people bitch about it, I think the American people kind of like that it's a slog. The give and take, I think, is pretty much viewed as a good thing. Right?
And get rid of it. And the Republicans should do it, but they have a number of Republicans that don't agree. And you know what? It's a question. Do I want to lose my relationship with those Republicans that have been very good to me for a long period of time, that voted against the crooked Democrats on impeachment and everything else? Do I want to lose them over it? I think it's a very important point. Do you ever have people that are wrong, but you can't convince them?
They don't?
So do you
What makes you
destroy
say
your
that?
whole relationship with them or not? I'd be close to losing it, but probably not.
How worried are you about this Supreme Court decision on your emergency power on tariffs? The hearing today, a lot of people were trying to read through the tea leaves, what the justices were asking. Some were saying they were overly skeptical. You can't really do that in Supreme Court hearings, but how worried are you that they may unwind this thing?
Well, I heard the court case went well today, but I just heard that a little while ago because, as you know, it was just 2 hours ago that they finished up. But I will say this, it would be devastating for our country if we lost that. Devastating. I think it's one of the most important, maybe the most, but one of the most important cases in the history of our country. I think taking tariffs away so that we can have national security. So, as an example, President Xi, he hit us with the rare earths, and I hit him with a tariff, 100% tariff on top of all the other tariffs that you're paying. And they called in 10 minutes and we made a deal.
You're saying you're happy with what you came out of it.
If I didn't have tariffs, we would right now, the entire world would be in a depression. Because, that wasn't a threat against us. That was a threat against the entire world. I did this for the world. But yeah, I would say that I can guarantee.
Maybe. I agree that people want fast change, but people also just hate the government doing stuff. So I
Guarantee you this: if I didn't put 100% tariff immediately on China, the entire world, because of magnets, a special kind of rare earth, etc., right?
The shape of a magnet.
We'd be closed up. Without the benefit of tariffs, we would not. We had a very successful meeting with President Xi of China and others. And without tariffs, that would not have taken place.
Well, we appreciate the time. There's a lot going on all at once. I'd ask you about foreign policy, but I know you have to hit the road. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
it. All right. No, that was about as nothing as... Okay, yeah, that's... Did he actually say that? Did he? No way he said that. No, it's all the Ben Shapiro results I'm getting are wait, there's Ben Shapiro segment on Fox News.
Ben Shapiro is here, host of the Ben Shapiro Show. Ben, great to have you on set. Good to
Thanks
see
so
you.
much for having me. I appreciate
great to see you. You know, what's your overall takeaway as you look at this, and particularly with a view to what we have seen as anti-Semitism and the anti-Semitic problem in New York City?
I mean, I think that many of the things that people are seeing
Oh,
is
yeah,
sort of
that
a
makes
bug
sense.
of the Mamdani campaign. How could he be elected while saying all these anti-Semitic things? That's a feature. The progressive left, the wild progressive left that was tapped in the primaries and then spurred him to victory in the general. That progressive left is very, very fond of anti-Semitism. They're totally fine with not only anti-Israel feeling, but obviously with a candidate for mayor who said to you on the show that he obviously doesn't really care whether Hamas disarms. Like that was something that he didn't mind talking about, which is kind of an incredible thing.
You know, when you break this vote down, not just in New York City, in Virginia and New Jersey as well, we see this young vote, massive young vote, supporting Democrats. And when we came out of 2024, the message was really that there was this resurgence of sort of young conservatives out there. So what's going on?
So I think what the polling is showing is that young people in particular are just unsettled. And what that means is that if they don't get what they want from one party, then they're going to swivel and they will turn and they will vote for the other party. So
Okay, that's actually true. This is why Ben Shapiro's, 'cause he's smart enough to know better.
And it was very unpopular. The inflation had really eaten away at people's livelihoods. And so people turned in favor of President Trump. I think that there are some warning signs here for young voters for 2026, even 2028, depending on the performance of the Trump administration. But one of the things that you're seeing with Mamdani, one of the things that you're seeing with I think, a lot of politicians these days, is if you just say the problem but don't offer a solution, that might be enough. If you just say affordability, 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 and then your solutions are absolutely ridiculous, like tried and true failures, people don't care about the solutions.
You have to be able to turn that lens back on yourself. I don't know Ben Shapiro's take on Trump and his economic policy this term. If you can't turn that lens back on yourself, that's crazy.
They just care that you empathize with the problem. The problem is that if you never solve it, then you are going to continue to see this kind of pendulum swing for young people from right to left and then back to right and then back to
It's
left.
like a generation of people, this is a big generalization, but who want to hear that they're seen.
Yes, yes. And also who have been
As
told...
long as you feel seen, it's okay.
I think that's right. And I think they've been also told by their politicians, only I can solve the problem. So I see your problem, and it's not solved by you. It's only
Let's go. Finally.
So today I'm thrilled to announce that the two world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, have agreed to offer their most popular GLP-1 weight loss drug. I call it the fat drug, remember?
Oh my God.
At drastic discounts. They're very effective drugs. And so far, I've never heard anything bad about them. I only hear good about them.
Thank God Trump got a discount on Ozempic.
So, yeah, is there anything bad about them, Bob? I haven't heard anything bad.
Someday maybe it'll come out, which will notify you immediately. But so far I haven't heard that, including the drugs known as Zepbound and Wegovy, often called Ozempic. This is a triumph for American patients that will save lives and improve the health of millions and millions of Americans. Amazing thing. They are amazing. I want to thank Eli Lilly CEO David Ricks, a friend of mine. We've worked long and hard. He and I got this whole thing started in a way. And Novo Nordisk CEO Mike Dustar for joining us today. Great.
So is this just that the prices are being lowered? It doesn't seem like fine, whatever. Like cool.
Kennedy Jr., Secretary Howard Lutnick.
Let's start with insulin, maybe.
Do you take any of this stuff, Howard?
Not yet.
Okay, good. CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz, he doesn't take it. Food and Drug Administrator Commissioner Marty McCary.
Also, you were saying about Trump feeling more alive.
And we have Steve. Where's Steve? Is he here? Head of Public Relations for the White House. He's taking it. The United States is just 4% of the world's population.
Holy shit.
And consumes only 13% of all prescription
Yeah,
drugs.
it seems like he's on and off.
Pharmaceutical companies make 75% of their profits from the American customer. I would say that's
that's a hell of a statement.
Right? It's not exactly great. To address this chronic unfairness, I signed an executive order earlier this year instructing my administration to do everything in our power to implement most favored nations drug pricing, something that has been helped greatly by tariffs, because when nations refuse to do it, we should have put this in the case yesterday. I just say, well, if you're not
He
going to do
looks
it, we're going to charge you
pale
a
as
like amount of
fuck,
tariffs.
too.
And they immediately say, we'll do it, which means that Americans should pay no more than the lowest price offered anywhere in the world. So that you've heard for years the disparity where you'll pay $150 for a pill in New York and you'll pay $10 for a pill in London. Now you're going to pay $20 both, because the world is a little bit bigger than the U.S., so it goes up that way, but you'll pay $20 and $20. A tremendous advantage to our country after years of being abused by the world system. Already Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and EMD, Serrano, have agreed to drastically lower their prices for American patients, and today Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are joining the phenomenal list of the most exciting announcements. I mean, nobody's ever had an...
Oh, so everything like this is just dangling keys in front of people. Like, on Fox, they're going to be talking about how great it is that, you know, drugs are finally cheaper. And it's just fucking Ozempic. Like, that's not the healthcare people are worried about. Right? Cost of living is clearly the main issue. This is just dangling keys in front of people being like, look, look, look. Hey. It seems like it. We'll read the order, but...
And this has to do with other pharmaceutical products also. But we're covering this today because it's such a big seller. I guess it's the number one selling thing there is today. These are two companies that behind the groundbreaking weight loss drugs that have helped millions of Americans struggling with obesity live better, longer lives, everything else. These are the two companies that really broke ground. Until now, neither of these two popular drugs have been covered by Medicare for weight loss, and they've only rarely been covered by Medicaid. They've often cost consumers more than $1,000 per month, and some a lot more than that. Americans have been spending as much as 520% more for Zepbound and 1,400% more for Wegovy than patients in Europe. Think of that.
Oh, hell no.
1,400% more than a patient in Europe for the exact same box. And that ends starting today.
It does sound like it's
The
just
other countries
Ozempic.
are not happy with us. I don't think they like me too much, Bobby, but that's okay. Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are committing to offer Zepbound and Wegovy at most favored nations rates for American patients. This will slash the cost of Wegovy from $1,350
I'm gonna be real here. I don't care
a month
at all
to
about the
ultimately
price of
$250 a
Ozempic.
month. $1,350 to $250. Did I do a good job? They don't write about it. You know, they like to not write these things.
Crazy.
You think Biden could have done this? I don't think so.
Any president could have done this. Just nuking everything and using maximalist policy. Yeah, any president could do it. They don't. Yeah, okay, that I can see. But then you change a regulation around it being covered. Or you take it up with the PBMs. What? This feels like the Amelia Earhart documents release. Finally I can get, yeah. It's just, after you get hammered in all these elections, you're like, Ozempic.
And reduce the monthly cost of Zepbound from $1,080 to $346.
Yeah, true.
In addition, they're both committing that future GLP-1 weight loss drugs taken orally, which are currently under development, will be sold at no more than $149 per month. Think of that. You go
True.
from $1,300 to $149.
If he's taking Ozempic, that's a fairly bad look for Ozempic.
$9 a month. We anticipate these new versions will be coming out in a very short period of time. All of these drugs will be available directly to the consumer at TrumpRx.gov.
Of course.
Trump, they want to use my name. Trump, it better be good. TrumpRx.gov. And I think it's turning out to be pretty amazing, right, Oz? Just as significantly, Medicare and Medicaid will finally cover the cost of these weight loss drugs for millions of patients suffering from obesity.
That's fine.
Co-pays for Medicare patients will be as low as $50. This is tremendous.
Honestly,
Now you're
if we
talking
could have a
about from
methed up
$1,350
society, why not?
to
Right now it's just
$50.
limited to Florida.
This is tremendous news for the American seniors, and you all remember when I had 1/8 of 1% for the year. I got it 1/8, and I was so thrilled. But now we're cutting.
This is tremendous news for the American seniors. Ah, yes. The demographic you're clearly hemorrhaging. But is he just abandoned the young vote altogether? He was so proud of it a month ago, and now it's just gone.
1,000%, 1,200%. Nobody's ever said anything like this. Nobody else could have done it, but I say that modestly. In addition, you think it was easy dealing with these people? It wasn't. You think it was easy saying your drug, Mr. Eli Lilly, that we're selling for $1,300 is going to be sold for $250? You know the amazing thing, the stocks all went up. I mean, these guys they're fantastic because it's going to equalize the world. The world is bigger than us.
6-7.
It's going to equalize.
Sorry.
I'm a little surprised to see that, but I'm happy about it. In addition, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk have agreed to provide all of their other medications to Medicaid at most favored nations prices. Most favored nations, meaning that you will pay the lowest price anywhere in the world. That's what you're going to pay. Whereas before they paid low prices and we paid, thousands of percentile ahead more.
With or without
And to
insurance.
sell these
though.
drugs to all consumers at deeply discounted prices via TrumpRx.com. When is TrumpRx.com opening?
The site is open. It will launch in terms of giving people prices before the end of the year.
Okay, got to make sure it's successful.
In terms of giving people prices,
I don't want to
as in listing the prices?
be like so many others. I don't want to be like the train they're building in California, okay, which has about 15,000% cost overrun. Or the beautiful Obama building that he's building in Chicago for the museum, which is now shuttered up and dead. They got it up, and they couldn't finish. It's about, would you say, 5 years behind schedule? and about 2,000% over budget. Then he tells us how to run Medicaid. Many of the most widely used drugs will be available for 60% off, or even more than that. In addition,
Oh, they corrected the percents. They figured out that you can't drop a price by 500, 600%.
The American market will be sold at the heavily reduced most favored nations price. Most favored nations price, that's the best, because they have been thousands of percent lower than what we were selling in many cases. Furthermore, Eli Lilly is investing $27 billion. That's all? And Novo Nordisk will invest $10 billion. That's all? That's peanuts. In the United States to reshore, do a big domestic manufacturing job in the facilities they're going to spend. So Eli Lilly spent $27 billion. Novo is spending $10 billion in the United States. So they're building new plant and equipment. That's part of what will be 20 or 21 trillion dollars this year. There's never been anything like it. I know nobody talks about it, but there's never been
FDI
anything like it. I would say,
is that
there's never been anything
100
like
billion.
this.
It's down from where
Whether it's
Biden was
China
at. That's foreign direct investment
Europe,
is
or you can
down.
take all of Europe, there's never been anything like this.
Construction spending is down.
So we're already past 17 trillion. We're going to be, I think by the time the year closes out, we'll have investments of over $21 trillion based on the way we're going. And by the way, tariffs are very important. Without tariffs, perhaps it could be a little bit different, to put it mildly. Tariffs are so important. The decision in the Supreme Court would be devastating to our country if we got a negative, devastating if we got a negative decision. But this is a great day
Please,
for
the Supreme Court,
American
stand
health
for
and
something,
healthcare
I beg
and
you.
for all of American patients. These are things that are miracles to have this happen. And they're, you know, we're bringing all our medicines, again, because of tariffs, we're bringing all our medicines. If you remember where during COVID, we made almost no medicine here. We had to go to China, we had to go to Ireland, we had to go to other places, UK, to get our medicine. We didn't make it here. Now we're making it. We'll soon be making it all here, again, because of tariffs.
Like,
And my election.
okay, having a reliance on China to make our meds, probably not great. Relying on the UK and Ireland, that's a pretty safe bet. We should have some domestic manufacturing capability for medications. I would agree with that. But saying historically unreliable, adversarial England? Like, come on.
But because of tariffs, much more. For years, politicians have talked about making health care affordable, but my administration is actually doing it. Americans deserve the best health care in the world, and we're now getting the best health care at the lowest price. So I'd like to ask somebody who's doing a fantastic job, Secretary Kennedy, to say a few words, followed by Dr. Oz, Dr. Klopp, and then Eli Lilly, CEO David Ricks, and Novo Nordisk CEO Mike Dustar. These are incredible stars in that business. Like Dustar is a big star. And I can tell you that David Ricks is one of the hottest people in the world in business. But
oh my God.
The business that he's in is pharmaceutical. And the job he's done with Eli Lilly is incredible. Both of these gentlemen, they really are stars in the truest sense. And it's an honor to have you in the White House. And go to it, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to start by thanking you, Mr. President, for declaring war on chronic disease in this country. This is something no American president has ever done. If we want to solve the chronic disease crisis, we have to tackle obesity. Obesity is the number-one driver of chronic disease. 50% of our adult population are obese or overweight. And it drives about 50% of healthcare costs in this country. Diabetes, cardiac diseases. We are going to see a decline because of this historic agreement. We're going to see a decline in costs, but also, more importantly, in the afflictions themselves. There are
But it was criminal for Michelle Obama to say maybe we should have healthier school lunches.
This is President Trump is the friend of the forgotten American. Obesity is a disease of poverty, overwhelmingly. And these drugs have only been available for people who have wealth. At one point, the majority of prescriptions, the highest concentration of prescriptions in this country was the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And what about the people who live in rural areas, who live in food deserts? What about the people in urban areas who live in food deserts and are suffering from obesity and are locked into that system where they can only get ultra-processed foods, which are aggravating the problem? This will be a lifesaver to them. It's not a panacea. It's not a silver bullet. President Trump has also instructed us to address and end the root cause.
So, to my understanding, Ozempic is like a craving reducer.
Release dietary guidelines that are going to change the food culture in this country. They're going to change the kind of food the military gets. They're going to change the kind of food that our children get. We're releasing those in December. The Presidential Council for Physical Fitness is going to get more Americans into, particularly our children, into physical activity so that we can attack the root causes of this. But in the meantime, there's nothing more important than we can do than...
Yeah, so it makes you feel more full. So we're not underlying any of the, we're not addressing any of the underlying issues. We're basically just giving people appetite suppressants.
Lower this price. As I said, it is the #1 cost of all drugs. This is the biggest drug in our country. That's why this is the most important of all the MFN announcements we've made. This is going to have the biggest impact on the American people. Okay. All Americans, even those who are not on Medicaid and Medicare, are going to be able to get the same price for their drugs, for their GLP drugs. This happened because of the vision of David Ricks, of Mike Dustar, and the other people, and the people on our team who figured out a way to align the interests of the shareholders of their company with the health of the American public. And it is a momentous accomplishment. It took months and months of negotiations. And I had a wonderful conversation with Mike Dustar about his experience, and he thanked me for the caliber of people who are on our side of the negotiating team. Chris Klump, who walked away from $1 billion business in order to join this administration, Emma Hernandez, David Brooks, and of course, Dr. Oz and Marty McGarry, who made this happen. They saw that this could be a win-win situation, that this was not a zero-sum game. The Biden administration tried to solve this problem unsuccessfully, I might add, by throwing $40 billion at it. And they were able to achieve an agreement that will actually create savings for the American public. So we're making all of this available at a savings, and that's because the price of diabetes prescriptions is also going to drop. And the savings that we get from that are now going to make it available to people who do not have diabetes. People who have a BMI of 27 and above, or pre-diabetic, or have heart disease risk, they will be able to get it, but everybody will be able to get this drug, and it's going to change. We will lose, the American public, because of this agreement, will lose 125 million pounds by this time next year. So it is going to have dramatic effects on human health in this country. And I want to thank President Trump for his leadership. He said that I'd gotten a lot done as HHS secretary, but almost none of that is due to my ability. It's because people are smarter than me, or more able than me, and those people came into the administration because they were inspired by President Trump.
I know what he's getting at, but
such
a funny line.
Yeah. Believe me, they're a lot smarter than I am.
Why don't you take that job? He doesn't really mean that he's being modest, I promise you. But
This is like me when we're watching a long video. Trump is
But
just
I want to
hitting.
thank you, Mr. President, because you've made me a success here by allowing me to attract these extraordinary people. And I want to again thank David Ricks, who we've been in this Oval Office again and again. You keep saying he's the smartest guy in industry, that he could talk a dog off a meat truck. But it came to the table, and Mike Newstar told me, he said,
did convince people for 20 years that it was okay for Europe to pay $10 and for America to pay $140. That's why they make 45, 50 million a year. He did. Finally, I said, I've had it, right? You did. He did. But anybody can do that, and they're entitled. But now it's down to what it should be.
and Mike Newstar told me what a pleasure it was to negotiate with people who were smart, who had common sense, who were able to put themselves in his position and hammer out this deal that is good for everybody. And it's great for the American public. I want to close again by just saying that this is a tool in the toolkit. It is not a silver bullet. It is an arrow in our quiver. It will allow a lot of people who are locked into high-risk obesity to finally lose weight, to reset, and then start doing the kind of things that will address the root causes of obesity. So I want to thank these extraordinary CEOs for sticking with us on this, for allowing us to make this happen. Mike Newstar said to me, he said, we've known we've had to do this for many years. We just haven't been able to get over the edge, and that this, President Trump's order, his executive order, was the catalyst to do something that we always knew needed to be done. So again, thank you for your vision.
It's like when you negotiate and you're glazing somebody, that's so you get more favorable terms.
Your commitment, and thank you to all the CEOs and all of my team for making this historic agreement happen.
Bobby, you haven't changed your view on Tylenol for women that are pregnant?
No. As I said.
There were some false reports out about Tylenol that Bobby changed his view. I don't think he's changed.
I'm not going to change until the science changes, and the science does not look like it's changing. It's getting stronger and stronger.
Just on the Tylenol thing, the thing that made them change their stance on Tylenol, or to say it causes autism, was a publication which is a collection of studies, one of which was the entire country of Sweden, which showed that there was no correlation between Tylenol and autism, and the other ones were elective studies that they were biased towards showing a relation because you could only qualify for the study, or the only people that were counted in the study were people that had already went to go get a diagnosis for autism for their kid. It's like the bias that arises out of that is if you're getting a diagnosis, you suspect that they may have autism. And with that, Tylenol is prescribed pretty regularly and used regularly. It's like the only thing you can take when you're pregnant. So it's going to create a bunch of false positives.
Every day, what we recommend is that pregnant mothers, talk to their physicians, that the mothers of small kids talk to their physicians, and we've advised the physicians to reduce the thresholds and to reduce the amount of Tylenol that they give to children as much as possible, and only use it when it's absolutely critical.
So we're going to go through some of the deal points, but it does make itself clear that the real stake here is the forgotten man. President Trump, I believe you won the election because you remember the forgotten man. You speak to them, they hear you, they listen to you, and he connects well because he actually does things that materially change their lives. Secretary Kennedy spoke passionately, as he always does, about the problems with obesity. And just to put some very fine point numbers on this, obesity itself is responsible for half of all chronic disease and definitely generates more than a quarter of all the money we spend out of CMS, the $1.75 trillion that we spend annually. We need to address this tempest of dramatically increasing prices for health care, and you're not going to do it just by throwing money at the problem. You have to actually literally deal with the causes of the increase in price. And
Our pharmaceuticals are expensive because we do the R&D. We have an insurance-based system which is meant to alleviate the costs. And so Democrats' big crime is trying to get everyone on insurance so that they can have access to these drugs at a reasonable price.
Pharmaceutical prices are a part of that. They've been a part of it for a long time, but this president insisted that we address it. In fact, the first time I heard this directly from you, sir, was in January at Mar-a-Lago, where he took Secretary Kennedy, myself, Mr. Ricks, who you'll hear from in a second, to dinner, and demanded explanations for most favored nation pricing and what's wrong with it. And there was not a good reason against it. Now, MAHA is critical. America will have to get fit in order to right-size the healthcare system, and MAHA has the answers. It has obesity management through diet and exercise and sleep and dealing with issues related to that. And I want to say it as clear as I can, obesity is not an absence of GLP-1 drugs. We're all clear on that. But as Secretary Kennedy said, it is an arrow in our quiver that we must use and should use. The MAHA movement means making it easier for the right things to happen, easier for you to be healthy. If you're sitting at home and watching, that's what MAHA means to me. Reducing costs of the #1 most expensive medicine category in our country for Americans does just that. It is as MAHA as it gets. Today's the 4th MFN. President Trump highlighted the first 3. Leading U.S. company, leading European company. We've dropped in fertility drugs, so we'll make lots of Trump babies, I'm hoping, by the midterms. But it's really about fairness. Fundamentally, it's fairness in pricing to Americans who have been getting ripped off, paying 3 times more than their European counterparts for the exact same product made in the same factory, in the same bottle, in the same packaging. We shouldn't be paying 3 times more, and we are no longer doing that. Fairness to the forgotten man also means dealing with the reality.
I thought this was going to be like the actual
a
points
life-saving,
of the
life-changing
deal.
drug that
How
10%
naive
or
of me.
more of affluent Americans take, but folks without means can't manage it. Secretary Kennedy mentioned New York City. Actually, the #1 zip code is the Upper East Side, which is where you have property. And folks who know ritzy areas buy important real estate there because those real estate properties are worth a lot there. That should not be the #1 zip code in America for purchasing GLP-1 drugs. It speaks to the fact that we have an innately unfair system that penalizes folks who can use these medications the most. Folks in the Rust Belt. Now, what are you supposed to do if the right thing to do for your health is right there, but you can't afford to get it? Folks need to be able to utilize.
We should kick them off their insurance. What?
These life-saving medications.
Oh,
and being fair
Republicans.
about its distribution is essential. And we are democratizing access to these medications and dealing with a moral imperative to make sure that all Americans have access to avoiding all the obesity-related complications by making sure they can afford, if they do things right, not just MAHA-appropriate interventions, but also medications like this. In fact, we think these deals, and this part's very important, we believe these deals within 2 years, by the time the ink dries on these contracts that were signed earlier today, within 2 years, based on our health improvements, we will be budget neutral. These drugs will not cost us money. The American taxpayers will be getting their money back. That's how important it is for us to reduce the cost of health care in this country.
Wait, so they are doing some sort of subsidy? What is it costing? Why is it costing the government money?
Especially when it's due to preventable problems like obesity. In addition, we have an update, Secretary Kennedy. We thought it was 125 million pounds. Mr. President, our estimate, based on the company numbers as well, is Americans will lose 135 billion pounds by the midterms. But I don't measure it in pounds. I measure it in saved lives. People can sleep again because they can breathe as when they go to bed. Folks whose knees don't hurt. People who don't have heart attacks, renal failure, dementia, all the things we know are associated with obesity and much more. This wouldn't have happened if we didn't have the right tools and had the ability with a team that has been spoken of early. So I want to call out Abe Sutton. He's in the back right there. He leads the CMS Innovation Center. It made the deal possible.
All right.
And they're announcing.
Yeah, okay. That's that. I don't care. I mean, like, that's important, but I guess big news for those on Ozempic.
The single most consequential election.
Thoughts on the filibuster? Yeah, the filibuster is a critical part of the American democracy. Since we are in a spot where we have a two-party system, the filibuster makes sure that the minority party is not steamrolled. It is important for Republicans. It is important for Democrats. The filibuster should not be repealed. You should have to make some concessions to negotiate with the minority party. I say that for when Democrats are in power or Republicans are in power. It's a way to make sure that the minority is not completely erased like the Republicans want to do. It's part of the reason that Democrats negotiated with Republicans when Biden was in office. It is an important tool to bring people to the table to make sure that it's not just mob rule. Clip it and ship it.
Victory in American history is possible. I mean, it's possible. We've done a lot. On November 5th, 2024, the American people reclaimed our government. We restored our sovereignty. We lost a little bit of sovereignty last night in New York, but we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We rescued our economy, regained our liberty, and together we saved our country. On that magnificent...
Loki, do you want to just play Counter-Strike? This is an hour. I don't have that long until work.
Magnificent night, 365 days ago. You know, I was with a group of very important people, and they say, think of it, last week.
I work at 3:30. I want to try out my new knife. It's all right. I'll wrap up stream. All right, everybody. Yeah, the Fox News meltdown is beautiful. Might be live again later tonight. Depends when I get off work. All right.